pop out to check.
Fair enough. I find I tried to book appointments on yeah, I'm getting whatever vaccination. 5,000. I eventually got to being first in line, so that was good. AstraZeneca. Nope. Yep. Dying by drowning in your own lungs. I will put up with a lot of shit so that I don't have to drown in my own forearm for a couple days. Bring it on. Feeling shitty? Fine, why not? Dying by drowning in my own lungs? Thanks. Hey, good evening. I'm Steve Thomas at choiceminis on Give Choice. Mostly it's really want to talk to me on it. And welcome to our very ninth live stream. I'm joined by my co-host, planter of trees, and man I would watch eat a sandwich, non-sexual Adam Grimm. So on Instagram, how you
I'm doing good. Today is Thursday and it's payday. I love payday.
woo? Oh boy. Yeah, I can honestly tell you that a while since offset I
Uh,
used to work.
I'm definitely getting accustomed to not getting paid on the 15th. 2 years of that was pretty nice.
Hey Sean, hey, so we're gonna work on armor. One of our dudes. So I am guy around. Games Workshop host where you get put together fun diorama, play your army on. I like Blood Bowl and I
It happens.
it happens. Sometimes you start painting.
Yeah, I haven't built any more, guys. I'm actually gonna build my heat tester today because I've got I have like half a dozen boxes of other Space Marine, like Trueborn or Firstborn bits. Maybe not Trueborn. I've been playing and reading a bit too much BattleTech lately. Is it
Right.
is subpar as the game is MechWarrior 5? It's still really fun, and what I've read about the DLC, they are making the much needed changements and additions to the game that should have been there at launch. But I also did hear a rumor that the guys from Piranha want to push it back again, and then EG7, the gaming conglomerate that owns Piranha now, is like, no, no, you guys have been pushing this back for 2 years. No.
If I've learned any one could argue I have not, but if I've learned anything over the last year, I'm totally willing to wait. Come out in their own time. Um,
Uh,
CD Project Red.
yep. From what I read, it was they were pushing back, like, not to like tweak anything or add anything. They were just pushing it back because they're like, oh, we don't want to release right now.
Oh, apparently know you.
Really, that's really weird because I can hear myself coming through the stream.
Huh. Connor V, can you add him in on Yoldi? I don't know how we would do it. That Adam can hear himself on YouTube and no one. That would be really. I would like to break the internet that exact
Yeah,
specific way. That would be
yeah, that's a weird one.
yeah. Although it would
Uh,
YouTube
it
and
also
Streamlabs.
B also says your mic is cutting in and out for you. They're
Nice.
getting like every fourth word.
Cool. Wow, that's real progress. The amount and style. How are we doing now that I'm actually talking into the mic as my own chest is better?
And then now they're not responding.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Like, it's cool here and helping it, not like trying to make.
No, I'm totally trying to make fun. Not
I don't know.
trying. I'm definitely succeeding.
Every time I've talked to Sean, absolutely know what happened, but maybe you gotta like figure your shit out.
No, he
Okay,
deserves it every time.
tried Sean. Tried to turn him into a fail.
Well, I'm nice to everyone else, just not Sean.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I've known him for 20 years. I feel like it's about time where I'm just a dick to him.
That's it. Knock my. I remember when I first assembled the primer, oil wash the sorry, a gloss varnish. But when I originally stuck these guys together, stuck them together, just the most amount of plastic glue, exactly that. I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna need to put bases on these. So single drips. It seems to stop picking up what I'm saying. Well,
Maybe your input
no,
needs to be.
I'm just gonna change how my noise gate is set up. So we'll see whether or not that's
Oh,
better or worse.
that's what was happening with me on Discord.
Yeah, I'm not
When you
talking to
guys
the
could,
stream through Discord though.
yeah. I'm just saying, like my input sensitivity was, I had it set so low so you guys wouldn't also pick up Jamie when we were sitting next to each other.
Well, we'll try
And
that and see. That is definitely peaking on stream now. So we'll see how it goes. If at some point, I don't know. Okay, thanks, V.
that's
Glad to
better.
know that that's better. We will continue to futz around with settings as I mentioned in Tuesday's stream. I definitely had to rebuild the entire streaming setup and swap it from being on a Mac to being on a PC because Macs are garbage and they're a garbage company run by garbage humans. I might change my story tomorrow. I've got another phone call at 6:45 a.m. with Mac with Apple support to see if they can just replace the stupid computer that doesn't function.
Are you having better um better chances to like actually speak with someone in the morning with Mac, like scheduling it like super fucking early than later in
Oh,
the day where they just seem to not show up?
yeah, no, my whole process with Mac has been an ongoing one. It's to the point where they schedule phone calls with me and phone me now. Because they don't know how to fix this, and rather than just replacing their broken hardware that never actually functioned properly, they've decided that it requires dozens of phone calls and trips back and forth to the Apple Store. And I finally got fed up with them and said that they get to phone me back on Friday and tell me how they're replacing my hardware or giving me a refund for it because I'm no longer traveling back and forth to the Apple Store that's nearby here. Hang on one second. I'm gonna grab the pallet cam, which I just realized it's never been plugged in because my phone was almost dead. Oh, it's one of those days, man. It's been super busy with work, but we've had some actually really good progress or some really good cool announcements today. We'll get to that in the news, but I'm kind of excited to talk about some of the stuff in the news.
Yeah, the day 3 of Warhammer Days or whatever it's called.
Warhammer Fest.
Warhammer Fest, the day 3 announcement is actually going to be on Tuesday's news.
Oh, are you going to put that on Tuesday? Because I was just going to talk about the whole thing. I figured we could waste at least. Yeah, the Apple Store is in a gross mall that is surrounded by COVIDiots. So if I could at all avoid getting COVID in the like remaining 2 weeks of high likelihood of contracting and dying from it, I would really love that. Like I would absolutely 100%. I wish it was called Warhammer Palooza. That's a way better name for it, V.
Yeah, Warhammer Palooza. Like maybe we should start one called Warhammer Palooza.
I think we should start our own thing that is called something better than Warhammer Palooza. Because listen, we're not We're not GW, and I don't really feel like talking to their intellectual property lawyers. So we could probably come up with a better name.
Plastic Crack Palooza.
I'm not objecting to Plastic Crack Palooza. I'm not sure it needs to be a Palooza though. Like if we could have a better name for our Festivus.
Plastic Crack Jamboree.
See, this is giving me like weird flashbacks to being a Boy Scout with the term jamboree.
Yeah.
Did you ever do like beavers and cubs and scouts as a kid?
No, I did air cadets.
Oh, okay. So you were cooler than I was. I mean, we already knew that, but like, Battle Mace Palooza?
Battle Mace?
Are you suggesting that Adam and I should fight each other using nothing but maces? Because I'm opting out. I really don't want to be involved in that. That sounds like something where I'm going to end up getting maced to death, either with an actual medieval mace or like with the pepper spray.
Like I feel like if it was pepper spray, but they call it battle mace, it's got to be like pepper spray double plus.
Oh, it's like bear mace, shark mace. Did you know that they make shark mace?
Yeah, shark mace and shark blasters are totally a thing.
That seems, I don't want to say unnecessary. It seems very. Would you not? Okay, I have several questions that clearly somebody who has more experience in the ocean than I do would be able to answer.
I mean, I can explain the premise behind.
Oh, I understand that it's just a cloud of irritant that you release into the water, but like, why would you intentionally? You know what? There are several questions, and I'm going to be dissatisfied with the answers because the answers are going to be things like we decided to fuck with sharks. So
yeah, I mean there is that. I was voluntarily going to go do that like a decade ago.
You were going to voluntarily go and fuck with sharks? Oh, I'm sorry, I've been swearing, but whatever.
That's okay. Sean is right. It actually wasn't the show though, Sean. It was in Batman the movie.
It was Batman the movie.
60s.
And that wasn't on Mace. That was
Bat helicopter on the bat ladder, and then he asked Robin for the bat shark repellent.
Yeah, there you go. Bat shark repellent. No, wait. Is shark repellent and shark mace the same stuff?
Bat shark repellent is fake. Shark mace is essentially just like bear mace, but somehow developed to shoot underwater. I'm going to assume it's gonna suck just as bad, but underwater.
Okay, fair enough.
Shark blasters are basically the exact same as bear blasters. It's just a loud,
it's just a loud noise. Pop.
Yeah, it's basically just like
it's like fireworks that aren't fun.
Yeah, it's essentially just a blasting cap in like a hollow tube, so it just makes a loud bang. But it does it under the water. But thankfully, because the way it's the shark ones are formed, you don't get any of like the noise directed towards you because of how it's shaped. So it only goes where you point it. Because those who know anything about being underwater, sound is greatly amplified, and something like a gunshot going off underwater within like 6 feet of you will blow your eardrums apart.
Ooh, I can answer the physics part of this. It's not actually that it's louder, it's that it propagates more easily and with greater pressure. So
yeah. Because water is a great conductor of pretty much anything.
Well, it's more that the atoms and molecules are closer together, so the wave propagates more easily. It takes more to actually push, but once you actually get the wave propagated, it sustains itself better because there's less energy lost by having, space between molecules. Whatever. Chemistry in high school and then briefly in university were fun, I guess. Something sound in liquids and solids propagates in a different way than it does through the air, and our entire hearing system based off of being pretty much always in air. That's why what was it? It was the Fantasyland Hotel up in, or not Fantasyland, the water park up in Edmonton. Yeah, that's why they had to they changed a bunch of the slides at the end of the 90s because people kept perforating their eardrums when they were going down them. because the shockwave of hitting water is bad for your eardrums. Surprise. Hitting shockwaves with the most sensitive part of your body is bad for them. And yeah, it still happens. Actually, I think my buddy Chris perforated his eardrum at the water park once.
Does that heal?
Yeah, it heals. Yeah, no, you do regain your sense of hearing. It's not like you're permanently deafened, but it's very, very uncomfortable. And by very, very uncomfortable, I mean it is extremely painful.
Recover from that, correct?
Yes. Sorry, no, they're for the most part the terms are used interchangeably, I think. Blown eardrum is just sort of a colloquialism for the perforated eardrum thing.
Okay.
I could be wrong. Somebody in chat, if you happen to be a doctor or have any sort of medical understanding. Like my left eardrum is smashed. There you go. Smash the like button like V. Wait, what? No, I'm going to stand behind that. That seems appropriate stuff. Okay.
Smash the like button like B?
Well, V has us smash the like button like her left eardrum, but I sort of shortened that in a way that was phrasing. There should have been phrasing involved in it. All right. Got a pretty even coat. So this is just scale 75.
So we had
bearing blue.
Someone provide us some knowledge.
Ooh, who's imparting knowledge now?
He is about perforated eardrums and how they heal, but it heals with scar tissue that later will affect your hearing.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
So the reason I know a little bit about hearing is mostly because of I have a really high ringing tinnitus in both ears from I don't know, like a decade of standing in the middle of very noisy places listening to loud music that was being produced.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
Yeah, so I've lost
where like it'll switch ears and go from like really faint, super loud, and then fade out again.
Yeah, no, whenever I'm in silence, I hear a persistent high tone pitch, and the quieter the room is, the louder that sound is. But you hear it all the time. That's the thing with tinnitus, is you do always hear it. It's just that normally it just means that there's a frequency cutout that your brain filters it out. You're still hearing the ringing. It's just that it gets rid of part of your hearing because your brain is like, whatever, I can process this anyway. Adam's building his paint tester tonight.
Yes, I'm just going to hop off mic real quick because that bag is just too far to reach.
Oh.
But on the plus side, I got my first layer of primer on my blaster and my Mando helmet.
Nice.
Was going to do more, but then, like John said, I was being a bit of a loaf playing video games for a couple hours in the afternoon. And also it got too windy and it kind of actually messed up my first coat of primer. So I have some extra sanding work to do.
Well, sanding is a big part of building finish on big, large, flat surfaces. Thank God we don't have to do that, guys, right? The miniature hobby is great because there's very little sanding once you start getting into painting. So as you can see, I've just gone through. So I've got my tester model here. This is the final form of our little dude. We're going to be painting up the armor to sort of match off what we've got on our little mans here. So we're going to start adding in shadows, essentially. I'm going to just sketch in some colors really, really broadly here, and then we'll start doing some blending. So now that we've got bearing blue down, I'm going to use Caspian blue. This is sort of our... if there are 5 levels of highlight to shadow, 1 being the brightest color that we're going to be using, 3 being our mid-tone, or in this case, it's going to be our bearing blue. And then our darkest shadows is going to be probably a combination of anthracite blue, we'll say like 75-ish% anthracite blue and 25%-ish Caspian blue. I'm going to use the Caspian blue to sort of go around and start laying out where some of the shadows are going to be on our little model. Now, I've decided we're doing really directional lighting with our with our Never Fallen project right now. These guys, I'm gonna do a little bit of directional lighting, but we're gonna be generally overhead. So even with the Orkland Raiders, we're doing some pretty directional lighting. These guys are gonna be a little bit more traditional, just because I know I've now talked to a bunch of like former Warhammer World judges or current Warhammer World judges and stuff on to interwebs to be like, hey, you know, what is it that you guys actually look for in these sorts of models? And a big part of it with especially with Armies on Parade is just consistency of finish. It's not so much that they're like, it's not like it's single mini in Golden Demon or Slayer Sword kind of a deal. It is much more about you know, how does the army express a theme and is it consistent all the way through? Obviously, you know, when it's like if you're doing an entire, like, let's say like last year's winner, they did an entire chapter of Ultra, like not an entire chapter of Ultramarines, but they did do like a big battalion of Ultramarines was one of the winners last year. They expect them to be nicely painted. They don't expect them to be like crazy, ridiculous paint jobs on each and every Marine. So that's sort of where I'm at with this. I mean, obviously the Blood Bowl ones, there's a lower model count and they expect, you know, a sort of a different level on lower model count models. But right now, we're just going to go in and sweep in some pretty broad shadows with our Caspian Blue.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm clipping out bits.
Flipping out the bits.
Yeah, I
one of these days, we're going to have to actually figure out if we can get your stuff on camera too, so that we can stream simultaneously. Have both of our desks streaming away.
I imagine we could. I'd probably have to use Jamie's camera because, as you know from D&D, my webcam's not the best.
Well, you know, that's fine. I'm
People
spitballing so that, you know, if somebody, you know, we can all have. I mean, we could all do this just on a, you know, Google Meet or Zoom call or whatever and record all of them. But I like doing it live, man.
Yeah, it's way more fun live.
Yeah. And I mean, I've seen enough of the like Warhammer Hangout and Hobby streams to know that you can definitely stream alongside other people. So,
Sean would like to know if you'd ever enter a painting contest. I guess that's kind of what Armies on Parade is.
yeah, Armies on Parade is going to be a painting contest. I have not actually entered any painting contests so far. Not that I don't intend to. It's just I haven't had a model where I've been like, yes, this one is good enough.
I actually think your Uranium Magician would have probably won a few things.
You know what happened the other day? So I was rearranging my bedroom, and as one does, you know, a lot of my minis are actually on a shelf just behind me, and you'll see the Uranium Magician during the slideshow on during the break actually, and also you can go check them out on my Instagram at choiceminis on Instagram. Neato. But no, I rearranged my room because I needed to bring all the streaming stuff into my room / office here, and that's where we are right now. I don't just live in a void that is entirely made of self-healing mats. There is actually a room around here. I'm more than just disembodied hands. Probably.
I don't believe that.
Listen, I am nothing but a voice in disembodied hands. At any rate, I've let my secret out. Now everybody will know. At any rate, I was rearranging my room, getting everything all set up, and the last thing that I was like, I'm gonna make my bed with fresh sheets and all the rest of it, and I got all the sheets on, and then I lifted up the comforter and did that thing where you like whip the comforter so that it like spreads out on the bed, and it just took out like an entire shelf of minis. So I was like, yeah, that seems about right. So I was sorting through the wreckage, and yeah, the Uranium Magician just got. He's a Privateer Press model. He's one of the, I want to say Khador, but I could be wrong. I'm probably wrong on that one. I don't know War Machine well enough to really judge, but he was a modified War Machine model, and he is super broken in several pieces, several small, sad pieces.
I've heard good and bad things about both War Machine the game and their model.
Yeah, I really enjoy their models. My only issue is that most of the coolest ones are still like pewter. Yes, and that is a real problem for me as somebody who really enjoys painting and has never found an effective way of both getting paint onto metal and keeping it on there. Yeah, it's always heartbreaking when I find really cool models that are metal, and I'm like, I will never paint you."
Oh, I just
Yeah,
dropped that head.
yeah, I know it sucks when you drop models, but it happens, man. Like I used to get much more worked up about it than I do now. It's just one of those things that
Yeah,
unless it's something that like I specifically am working on to like, you know, if I was working on a competition piece and dropped it, sure, I'd probably be mad about it. But like, I don't know, so many of my models have gotten broken over the years that like is what I
yeah.
say. I say,
Like the longer you're in the hobby, the thicker your my model just broke skin gets. Because I can't tell you how many times I've had a model and then I turn my back for like just to grab a drink, grab some snacks, and then come back, and it's like somehow tipped over and decided that in the inch and a half from the top of the model to the table that it was going to explode entirely, and pieces of it are still never to be found.
yeah, luckily enough, I did find all the pieces of our friend the Uranium Magician, but yep, yep, he is met a fate analogous to death. So at some point, someday in the future, I'll probably just go buy another one. If I really wanted to do that model over again, which I'm not ruling out, I'd probably just start over again from scratch because he was one of the first models I modified. He was a really early model in my painting like career, I guess, as well. So it's one of those things that not super not super worried about him. He will we will find other ways to proceed forward.
Yeah. Like I have models that if I lost them or if they broke, I would be a little choked because I have a few limited edition ones
Mm-hmm.
that like they don't make anymore. One being my Sean actually both have a limited edition set of these guys, the Achilles mini from Infinity.
Yep.
Um, and then also my Grimgore. I'd be pretty choked if Grimgore broke. But the one I think I'd be the most mad about would be if my pewter cipher broke or went missing.
Yeah.
Because he was out of print. Like they stopped making him when they started doing fine cast.
Fair enough. I mean, I do like the new Cipher mini. I understand the old one is really cool too. So like, not
Yeah,
going to take
I I,
anything
I,
away from that.
I
But
I
like,
do want the new one. Like the new one looks fantastic. I love how they're like, hey, we're gonna keep the kind of same like dynamic to the model where it looks like he's just like on the move and not stopping the whole time.
yeah, he is a sneaky boy. I think they did a really good job of modeling his sneaky sneaks.
I think so too as well. Where are these
So
weird thin bases from?
I am just so we're keeping up on what we're doing here with the model. With our model on the palette, so you guys probably watched, I mixed a little bit of anthracite gray with some petroleum gray, so they're both bluish grays. Petroleum gray is a little bit deeper, and then I just mixed that together with a little bit of our Caspian gray, and I'm making sort of our this if we're making 5 layers of shadow, this would be probably number 4 plus right now, and then that deep petroleum and anthracite mix is going to be 5. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. Again, I'm not being super precise or terribly careful. I'm using a big old number 2 that's old, like it doesn't hold a great tip anymore. This is just purely get paint into places right now. We will come back and smooth out blends and make sure that this guy is tippity toppity shape and that we're getting some of the directionality to his lighting here in a bit. But for right now, I just want to make sure that there is shadow in the place where I want there to be shadow, and that we're starting to see some of where the light is actually going to wind up on this model. I'm not terribly worried. This is pretty sketchy still. We'll come through and smooth a lot of this stuff down as we get closer. You'll also notice that I'm counter shading on this top shoulder pad. We'll see why that happens in a minute. I'm gonna make it look like it's shaped convex. So let's see. So it's shaped like this. So it's shaped like it's dished in as opposed to like it is dished out, like the top of the armor here. So
Oh,
yeah.
oh, I have fun food news.
Ooh, food news.
Food news.
Our newest segment. Ooh, food news.
Food news. There's a new Korean street food place that opened up on 17th Ave called Hanky. I can't pronounce it right, probably. If someone knows how to pronounce it and wants to correct me, I would love to know how to actually pronounce the name. Because they make all they serve is pretty much just variations on like corn dogs.
Okay.
But one, they're real good.
Okay.
And if you go there, definitely take their recommendation on putting the powdered sugar coating around your corn dog.
Okay.
It sounds really weird.
It does.
Jamie and I, we each ordered one and then ordered a third one with because we were like, that seems kind of weird. We won't. We both fully regretted not trusting them.
All right then. So that is for those of you in our hometown here, Calgary, Alberta, Canada, that you're talking about. And even if you aren't, if you ever end up in Calgary, apparently Hanky, the corn dog place, that feels weird to say.
Yeah, a little weird. It's really good, surprisingly, and like you can get a small bucket of fried chicken for like Korean fried chicken or like Korean barbecue chicken for like $15, and it's amazing.
Ooh.
Unless you're allergic to peanuts, but I guess you could. They are not owned by Tubby Dog, Sean. I don't like not that I
Whoa,
don't like
what's wrong with Tubby Dog?
the staff.
Oh yeah, well, okay. But it depends. I have definitely given them reason to hate me, though I doubt any of those guys still work anywhere near there. So
Yeah, like I do need to maybe reevaluate that because it has been like 7 years since I've set foot in Tubby Dog. Because the last time I was there, the staff were just like, "Oh, hey, we're cooler than you because we work at Tubby Dog and we throw on punk rock shows, which is totally cool, and I love their dogs."
as somebody who used to frequent those shows, they're not cooler than you.
No, they're not. I mean, like these are guys that they were generally the like super older punks who weren't in bands or anything anymore, but kind of refused to stop going to shows and hanging out with like 18-year-olds.
Well, at least they're 18. That's not always been the case with employees of that particular establishment.
Yeah, that's true.
At any rate, I don't need to besmirch the good name of Tubby Dog. Sir Tubbathan Doggin? I don't. I always thought they should have a mascot, and they never got one. And my drunken yelling suggestions at them has never once helped that become more the case.
Yeah, I like, oh man, like the amount of times I've gotten had too many adult beverages while in Tubby Dog was quite often. I mean, I lived like a 15-minute walk away from it, so
Is it really 10 minutes to 9A from where you're at?
no,
I
like
guess.
but when
Oh,
I lived in
yeah. Yeah, when you lived in the Crust House. Okay.
yeah.
Fair enough. I was going to say, like, your house is almost as close as my house used to be. I mean, I lived on 9A, so.
Yeah, I was at most of those Tubby Dog shows for quite a number of years.
Fair.
Hey, they also help contribute to my tintinitis.
Ooh. Yeah.
I mean, I can't blame them for that. That was definitely me being too cool for school, and then now being old, being like I was an idiot.
Yep. Young and dumb, and didn't respect the fact that loud noises are loud.
Yep, and I've only got 2 sets of ears. Otherwise, doesn't take much to be cooler than Punk Adam. Except Punk Adam was always cooler than you, Sean. You can't even say any different.
Wow. I thought you guys were supposed to love each other. Your love is weird.
We do, but it's also, this is how we show our love.
Okay.
True. Unbridled hatred and insults.
Okay. Well, I guess
If we're
you guys do you. If it works for you guys, I'm not gonna.
Were out in person, I probably would have just pushed him into a bush after he made that comment, or a tree. or a lamppost, possibly traffic.
Wow. I mean, traffic seems excessive. Like that seems a way to like ruin someone else's day, not just Sean's.
Yeah, I'm given. I don't want to just ruin one person's day if I want to ruin more.
Wow. I never. No, that's not true. I definitely knew that this was a part of your soul.
Yeah. Yeah, we just won't get into that because it's not what we're here to talk about.
What? You know what we are here to talk about?
Miniatures.
Oh, I was going to go with the news.
Oh, this is news.
Oh, boy. Okay. Hey, wait a minute. Why didn't it do the fun thing? There we go. God.
I have a feeling Sean's texting me because I can like hear my phone vibrating in the background.
Okay. Let's start off with this story. Nope, that's not the story. Is it this story? Good God. Nothing works, guys. Everything is a mess. Oh, there we go. Oh, jeez. All right.
Ah, the news links aren't in the description.
I know. It's been a day. I am surprised that we are on air. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Hey, no worries. We're on. I just like to also go through the news because sometimes this stuff I want to like keep.
So, my first one. This wasn't actually gonna be my first one, but I'm gonna put it up as the first one anyway. The Hollywood Reporter reports that Matt Damon is back on the set for Thor 4, which I will forevermore identify as Thor, because that's more fun for me. But yeah, Matt Damon's back on set. The Hela in this one is going to be, oh boy, what's her name? Oh man, I feel really bad. Is Melissa McCarthy. God, you'd think and one of the ugly Hemsworths, the ugliest Hemsworth, really. It's Liam.
Who's still extremely attractive.
Yeah, look at him. Look at how attractive he is. But he is back to play his brother Thor. Matt Damon is back to play Loki again. Melissa McCarthy is on set. Apparently, there's just a whole bunch of stars that are in on this, like the fake Asgard plays of the last movie. Apparently, Taika's gonna recycle that one again. So super happy that that's gonna happen. I loved Ragnarok, and I am super looking forward to Thor. So just look at that set. It looks ridiculous. Oh boy. I'm so excited for Thor. So also as Guardians of the Galaxy. Both not franchises going into the Marvel universe that I would have assumed I would like, but here we are.
Yeah, like the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, like the first one, like that. I watched it twice back to back. Like I finished it, watched the end credits scene, and then I immediately started the movie again.
Neat. Yeah, so I'm looking. There's we're about to get like 8 movies in 3 years from Marvel, which is insanity. Outside of like even just TV, like the Disney Plus shows, we're getting Black Widow comes out in May, and then we have Shang-Chi, Legend of the Ten Rings, and then there is. Yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna feel about Shang-Chi. Like Shang-Chi when it came out originally was like in the Bruce Lee era. They got rid of Fu Manchu, who was originally Shang-Chi's dad. And now that looks like they're making his dad the Mandarin, which fine. Fu Manchu is a racist caricature, so like it's cool that they've given all of that to the Mandarin. I'm glad that the MCU has an actual Mandarin that isn't Ben Kingsley, although I kind of wish it was Ben Kingsley. Yeah, Hemsworth and Pratt is going to be fun. I agree with you, Sean. But and then we have the Eternals, which has like Angelina Jolie and just a cast of like literal like superstars. So and the Eternals is one of my. I was sad about how they treated it in how they treated the Kree and the Eternals in what was it called? Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the ABC show. I'm quite a bit happier that the Terrigen Mist and that whole thing is probably going to get a replay in the Eternals, so I'm happy for that. And then what else have we got? There's 3 this year, and then 4 next year, and then like 2 more in like early 2023. So like crazy, and that's all before we get
Yeah,
to Fantastic Four, which
and there's a second Black Panther movie, which is
Wakanda Forever.
Wakanda Forever.
I miss Chadwick Boseman already.
Yes.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I thought he was really good. He was a little outshined in Black Panther by Michael B. Jordan, and Michael B. Jordan can outshine literally. He outshone Andy Serkis, and Andy Serkis is like a Muppet. It is hard to be a bigger screen presence than Andy Serkis, and he somehow did it. So
my favorite part about Andy Serkis in that movie was when he's like, when he snaps his fingers, like, quick, get him a mixtape. He just thinks it's all about like he wants to say his band.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Let's move on in the news as opposed to just waxing poetic about
amazing actors.
Yeah, and about how the Marvel universe is going to just be enormous. Give me 1 second here. Warhammer Fest is on. I don't know. Have you seen anything about Warhammer Fest?
Yeah, I saw the release from yesterday, and I'm super excited about it.
Yeah. As I may have snarkily put in the lower third on this one, there are no release dates being released right now, but I wanted to go over some of the stuff that came out both yesterday and today. So yesterday was Warhammer 40K, like it was 40K day. To start it off with, these dudes, the Gots Ghosts,
those are
pretty great.
Excited about.
Yeah,
they like I used to own the Gaunt's Ghosts Omnibus, or at least their first one. And I recently on my Kindle downloaded the free one.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just as good as I remember it being. It is Abnet too, so it's going to be some of the better Black Library writing. And it's not about Space Marines.
Yeah. I mean, these guys are, for those who haven't read a whole bunch of the fiction and didn't go onto the website and get the whole breakdown, they are an elite commando strike force for the Imperial Guard. More out of circumstance than like good management, but they're a bunch of incredible badass dudes. So they got plot armor so thick.
Yeah, they have they actually have an extremely tragic backstory.
Why don't you tell us about the backstory, Adam? Because I did a little bit of reading, but not as much as I wanted to.
They are colloquially known as the Gaunt's Ghosts because they are commanded by Colonel Commissar Ibram Gaunt, and he's one of the very rare examples of a commissar holding a guard rank, because they are kind of out and on their outside of the rank structure for the most part. So he's commanding he was given command of a full regiment, that being he was going to be the commissar for the first regiment of the Tanith regiments of the Imperial Guard. Tanith was destroyed on the founding day of the 3 guard regiments by chaos. Only the first got off, so they are now known as the Tanith first and only. There is maybe a dozen of them left.
Well, we got 6 of them in models here, so that's a pretty decent chunk.
I haven't read any of the newer Gaunt's Ghost books, so I'm not actually sure how many of them survive. Just judging from what I know of the older Gaunt's Ghost set, this is about half of what was around for 5 and 6. So in the newer books, there might be some more more deaths of characters, which will be hard for fans of the Gaunt's Ghost universe to take, because they kind of weeded out a lot of the rank and file guys, and it just became like a unit of full-on badasses for a long time. Like their scout guy, there's one point where he's like sitting on the other side of a wall from like a bunch of chaos warriors or like chaos space marines, and he's just listening.
Fair enough. Did I lose you?
No, I'm still here.
Okay. I'm glad. It just there was a little bit of a pop at the end of your last sentence, so I'm always slightly afraid. And by always slightly afraid, I mean today more than ever. I'm marginally afraid of audio stuff. They did come with a whole bunch of, so you guys can see there is like special edition. There's a special edition book and stuff that's coming out with them. There is more lore coming out from Dan Abnett. It is edited by Abnett, so this is a bunch of collected anthologies. Yep, you can see all the stuff that is coming out. There is just a huge amount of collector stuff that is coming out with this one, so
Yeah,
be prepared to pay $400 for 6 miniatures.
That is a new Iron Snake book.
Yes, it is a new Iron Snake book. So they did do some of the fiction came out yesterday. There's more to get into today, and there was actually more on Monday as well. So
that is Priad of Damocles on the cover.
Cool.
Yeah, that he's the hero from the first Iron Snake book I have. I've tried getting a hold of their short stories, but I can't justify paying like $10 for 30 pages. So I don't.
Well, it looks like it's getting a full-on release from Black Library. So, if you're into Iron Snakes, that's cool. We have
a full new book too.
Yeah.
That looks like a VHS tape.
It does. I thought originally I was like, is that a DVD? No, it's just a giant bookmark. Be prepared to pay $40 for a bookmark.
Yeah, did you say the Gaunt's Ghost are $400?
Oh, I'm being sort of sassy about it, but it wouldn't surprise me that the like ultra special edition. So there are several different tiers of special edition that are going to come out with these guys. It looks like. I wouldn't be surprised if they can charge $100 for the special edition Techless Codex or Bellicor. No, there isn't a Bellicor special edition.
Not yet.
No. I was talking about the Broken Realms Bellicor book. But the last codex that was like the last Age of Sigmar codex that was special edition was $100 US. It was $120 Canadian for a codex. So like $400 doesn't seem impossible to me. Yep. There is more fiction as well. So the Blue Bloods novel, this is yep. I gotta say, I'm not super into the lore for 30K, but it is a 30K book of some sort. I read that much. And then there's the one that I actually want to read, which is
the Warhawk.
Yeah, so this is the Siege of Terra series is getting its next book, which is neat. We were talking about Jagatai a whole bunch in the last one, so
and this is actually about his famous counterattack. When it looked like the loyalists were going to lose, like Sanguinus had been brought low by a bloodthirster at this point. I mean, he did break that bloodthirster's back like immediately afterwards and then collapsed to the ground, but he did defend the Eternity Gate on his own. And I think this is about when Jagatai sallies forth from the Lion's Gate to go take a spaceport to essentially cut the traders off from supplies, and then also getting a beachhead for the announcement. What came through the warp was that the Ultramarines, Dark Angels, and Space Wolves were all on their way.
Yeah,
three of the largest legions.
Yeah, so I'm excited. This is the like one part of 30K lore that still has my interest. You had my interest, now you have my curiosity, as the saying goes. But yeah, this actually might be one of the books I pick up. We'll see. You know what? I'm probably not gonna. I won't lie on this one. I won't lie to you guys. Stream. I won't be reading this right away. This is going to be one of those ones that when I am sitting around and have too many credits on Audible, I will definitely pick it up then.
Yeah, I will buy this, but I need to get the rest of the Siege of Terra books first. I could care less about the rest of the Horus Heresy books. I pick and choose. Like if I want to really read about a specific legion or like event, I will find the books about. I'll like I'll go to Reddit and be like, hey guys,
If
I
I
want to
want to
read
read
about this.
exclusively about the Council of Nicaea and about how Magnus was probably right, what would I read? Right? Is that
I mean,
the
the thing is,
question?
Magnus wasn't wrong, but he did something wrong.
Magnus was right. He did nothing wrong. Sorcery is
No,
cool. The Emperor was bad.
he was right, but he just
Also,
did something.
Mortarion and Lehman are both dicks. So
Yeah, I like Mortarion is I really like the pre-heresy Death Guard, like the pre-fall Death Guard. They are super neat. I kind of like them a little bit, but yeah,
Morty was not a good person. Never.
no, no, like not ever, like didn't never even try to pretend it to be. I think Magnus's closest friends were Sanguinus or Sanguininus,
Sanguinius.
Sanguinius, and uh the Khan.
Yeah,
So,
probably. So
yes, John.
there is so many of them are so many of them are written very, very badly, including many in the first few of that series, and they're not good. There's a Broken City crime novel. Who cares? Moving along, there is a Warhammer 40k crime novel. Again, I'm gonna just go with I don't care. I know it's Sisters of Battle and the Inquisition in this book. Whatever. There is this book. Listen, again, I'm probably not going to get too far into books. Books don't hold my... and there's even more books. Yeah, this is why there's 240k days, hey?
Yeah, this explains a lot.
Yeah. Also, there's finally going to be... It sounds like there's finally going to be, from the perspective of a Necron, a book written, which... Boy, I'm actually kind of interested in this. Like, I kind of want to see the perspective of a newly awoken Overlord. We'll see how it goes.
I kind of want a book written from the perspective of an orc.
Yeah, that's just the word wog for like 400 pages, isn't it?
Well, you know.
Silly. Orcs can't read or write.
Like there's literally a part in the Angron Primarch novel where he goes into a berserk rage and they're like, you know what would be cool? I'm going to write the words on this page and you're going to be able to faintly see them, but not well enough to read them under the coating of just straight blood red that are going to coat the next 4 pages. And that is how they described Angron's rage in a book.
That's fair.
4 pages of solid red.
I mean, I'm not going to make fun of anybody trying to use, concrete poetry to explain something, but, each of their own, I guess.
Yeah, not my thing, but at the same time, I enjoyed his book. It gave me a little bit of feels towards him. He was.
You mean he was more than just angry?
He had potential to be very much more, but the Emperor is a dickhole.
He is kind of the worst daddy.
Like full on, was like, hey, I could save your entire planet, but I'm not gonna. Okay, bye.
Yeah.
I also kidnapped you on the eve of their destruction and kind of made you watch from orbit.
Yeah.
I'm
Big
pretty
Daddy
sure
E wasn't a great dad.
No, he's a terrible lad. I'm pretty sure during the beginning of the Horus Heresy, Angron went back to his planet and destroyed it. Because yeah.
Yeah, I think Angron is actually the one who takes out his planet. It's actually surprisingly, Lionel Johnson goes on quite a genocide there for a while, and after the heresy, and kind of goes on like a jaunt, destroys all the non-loyalist legions' homeworlds. Maybe commits some mid to high level genocide against the Night Lords. Also his own home planet.
Yeah, that is very true.
At any rate, Yeah, that was.
Iron Warriors, and they just do it themselves, like before the heresy happens at all, just because.
Oh yeah, no, he goes on like a hunt to actually find after Conrad Kurz messes about for a little while. He definitely goes on a hunt and just murders a lot of Night Lords, just a lot of dead Night Lords.
That's actually a new rivalry I'm learning about. Was that the Night Lords and the Dark Angels?
Not friends.
Yeah,
Not
like
friends.
never ever got along. Like Lehman Russ and the Lion got along better than the Lion and Kurz.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The definitely Conrad and Lionel had no love lost. Also, this is a weird question. What do you think of Lionel Johnson? Do you think of a white dude or a black dude? Based on name alone, I kind of think I kind of assumed he was a black man, but apparently he's very white.
He's like the typical like blonde haired, blue eyed.
Yeah, I just with a name like Lionel, I was like, that is a cool ass name. Oh,
well, see the thing. No, the thing is, his name is Lion. His last name is L. Johnson.
Oh, I know, but like for the first little while, I had read his name and was like, oh, it's Lionel. That's a cool ass name. And unfortunately, they were like, no, it's Lionel Johnson, and I was like, oh, what the lame.
Yeah,
lame by comparison, I guess.
Yeah. The dude had good intentions. He's a dick.
Fair enough. Yeah, and that was it for Warhammer Day 3. We sort of covered over Day 2. If you guys want to go through it, it's just in the new segment from our last stream on Tuesday. You guys can go through that stuff. But we also got Day 4 today, because Warhammer Fest goes until Saturday. It goes until the 8th. So, yeah, it goes until Saturday. So, let's go through Day 4, too, because Day 4 is Box Game Day. We already had the announcement about the new starter set for Necromunda, so not a huge surprise. Nothing in this was actually a huge surprise other than one thing. So we'll go through this pretty quickly. The Idoneth Deepkin are getting a new Dire Chasm Warband, but they told us that the Idoneth Deepkin were getting their new Dire Chasm Warband like 3 months ago. We'd already seen our fishy friend and the crab dude in not in their entirety, but we'd seen posts about them in Rumor Engine in, I think it was May, or sorry, it is May now. It was in March when we saw our fish friend, and I believe it was in December that we saw some crab dude stuff. Obviously, regular old Idoneth Deepkin. This is probably, for those who follow along with the Deepkin, there's no surprises as far as what we're getting. So we're getting one of our sorcerer spellcastery dudes. We're getting our 2 animal familiars. This is a pretty standard. It's actually a little low for model count from what I was expecting. I was expecting 1 more, probably 2 more Reavers.
I did notice that it was a little small.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's typically a small game, but the Nemerthi Raiders, like this sort of dude, they're not huge point costs, and they are just troop choice for the regular standard Warhammer Dire or Warhammer Age of Sigmar games. So it's a little surprising. We do have a couple of hero new poses more than anything, but nothing hugely shocking in our it's Tidecaster. I couldn't remember the word Tidecaster for our hero dude, but I mean, I like the Idoneth Deepkin. They're cool models. Whatever. I'm never going to probably play Dire Chasm, so it doesn't speak much to me. Necromunda, they basically told us on the weekend that this was coming. There's a new codex book for the Delac gang. Cool. Neato. Delac's getting a bunch of new releases that are coming to Games Workshop as opposed to going to Forge World, which is kind of nice. They're all creepy looking dudes, particularly this one. It's just a creepy baby controlling a robot. Just a creepy baby controlling a robot. When I saw that, I was like, that's a baby controlling a robot, which is metal as hell, but like also cool. 40K, you made it even weirder. And then I saw this thing, which is, I assume, a brain squig, like or like a brain squid.
Brain squid. Yep. Robot brain squid.
And then Hired Gun got a release date, so that's cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Hired Gun's coming out at the end of June, so June 30th, we're gonna get Hired Gun coming to the PS5, PS4, Xbox Series SX, and Xbox One. No PC release, which puts me out of the running on this one, unfortunately.
That's really, really dumb. They will rue that day, rue that decision.
I don't think so. I think that they know what they're doing as far as releasing games. I mean, we didn't talk about it yesterday, but there's a mobile game coming out that is basically, it looks like Vermintide. So, Vermintide Mobile. At any rate, it has some other better name. And then, yeah, Plastic Thunderhawk gunships. Unfortunately, it's for Aeronautica Imperialis, so they're tiny.
Yeah, I was like, I saw that, and I was like, yeah. Then I saw the Imperial Aeronautica thing, and I was like, ah.
Yeah, Imperialis, Aeronautica Imperialis, for those who don't know, is GW's answer to like X-Wing slash what was
Warlords, Blood Red Skies.
yeah. And then there is the Dungeons and Dragons version of it as well.
There's a D&D flyer game.
Yeah, it was exclusively with dragons, and then you could pick up your like minion ones too. But the core of your force was chromatic and metallic dragons. So
Neat.
yeah, but it is based off of that sort of flying squadron rules. So yes, you can get plastic Thunderhawks. Unfortunately, they're like thumb sized. So we're still not in the age of an actual plastic Thunderhawk yet. Someday GW will play that game, and we'll all be hundreds of dollars poorer for it. We'll all buy them. I have no reason to own a giant flyer that big, but there you go.
You can get the Stormbird, which is even bigger than the Thunderhawk, and comes in plastic from Forge World.
Yeah, I guess. I mean,
but it's also like $800 or it's for us in Canada, it would be like a $1,500 mini.
Yeah, it's well, neither here nor there. When stuff's on Forge World, it basically doesn't exist because Forge World doesn't go to Games Hub or Games Workshop stores. It only goes to select hobbyists who actually like select stockists, I guess, who actually choose to hold the game, or you can pay just an enormous amount in shipping it over from
yeah. Century Box does
from Games Workshop
get restocks of the Primarchs from Forge World.
Oh, they carry lots of Forge World stuff because they carry Forge World stuff for Necromunda. They carry Forge World stuff for, like, they do carry Games Workshop or Forge World stuff. It's just that, like, they're also not going to bring in a Storm Talon or, you know, what's the Necron construct, the giant one that's like $500
or the giant Necron Scorpion.
Yeah. Oh, no, not even the Scorpion. The one that's even bigger than that. The one that is like the size of a Warlord Titan tipped over.
Oh, let's look it up.
It starts with a C. At one point in time, I briefly contemplated buying one because I'm an idiot, but it's an all resin giant mini. So at some point in time, I don't think you can even call it a mini anymore. It's just giant. But it is a giant six-legged beastie deal. I mean, it's not actually Warlord size. I'm exaggerating, but
Necron's Seraptech heavy construct.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, with heavy singularity generators, because you know what kind of bullets do you shoot? Small black holes. What?
Listen,
small black holes.
If they're allowed to have if they're allowed to have void shields that literally just send energy to a different time, we're allowed to have oh no, they're not called void shields for the Necrons. What are the Sean, do you know what the Necron shields are called on the command barge and the catacomb annihilator? I can't remember what it's called right now, but they have literal shielding on them that makes it so that they can send damage to a different time. Not in the game, a different time, like a different time in space time. Quantum shielding. There we go. That was the word I was looking for. I don't know if Sean was in the middle of typing that out or not. At any rate, That's the news this week. News. Oh, and it looks like we're frozen for some reason. That's nifty. Okay, we're back.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Oh, and then it froze again. Oh, that's fun. This isn't giving me frame drop warnings, so I assume that that's just my computer choking. Just choking on it. Listen, the graphics card shortage combined with Bitcoin miners, sorry, not graphics card shortage. It is literally a shortage of all chips of all types, combined with the Bitcoin miners means my 5-year-old graphics card is having to pull duties it was never meant to pull. We had not invented streaming when this graphics card was laid down. Well, we had, but it was not something that you would do on a high-range graphics card, even at that point in time. So I'm on a Radeon R9 290, I think. Yeah, it's an R9 290. So I am like 4 generations old on this PC because, quite frankly, I don't need much more than that. The only thing that slows down is rendering times. And you know what rendering time is? Billable hours. Billable hours, friends.
Yep. I may have to upgrade my graphics card on my computer in the next 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, I definitely need an upgrade. Like, I'd like to go to... I've been trying to get a 3070 the entire time that the 3070 has been on the market. I've been trying to get an RTX 6900 the entire time they've been on the market, and so far, no far.
I'm happy with my NVIDIA, so I'll probably go with the 2080 next.
Dude, we're an entire like generation past the 2080, and you could have much nicer ray tracing if that were a thing that you wanted.
I mean, honestly, in like the next, because I'm gonna have to replace my 1080X eventually in probably the next 3 to 5 years. So there will probably be more graphics card out by then. But then, I'll also have to upgrade a bunch of other parts on my PC to be able to make it compatible with the new graphics card, because that's how it works. Sometimes, not all the time.
Not every time.
I could luck out.
I did a pretty severe upgrade to my PC last year, and I've just been sort of like the last piece of the build that I'm waiting for is a graphics card. But if anybody else knows the plight of buying graphics cards right now, it's not fun. Between Bitcoin mining and the world has COVID affected a lot of things strangely. None of them perhaps more strangely than the fact that a bunch of factories just figured out that it wasn't really all that profitable to make certain chips anymore. And in deciding that it was no longer profitable to make certain chips, they've done a bunch of factory retooling. And yeah, now there's just a worldwide shortage for a lot of electronics. The camera that I originally ordered for streaming here has been out of production now for almost a year. Not that they don't want to produce them. Like, Zcam is still trying to make cameras, but they're making their high profitability ones. So they're making the ones that are like, I don't know, $9,000. Like, they're making their big 12K 120 cams. Yeah, well, thank you, but I'm trying to sound great, unless of course you're making fun of Adam coughing into his mic, in which case, well, he's still... Shut up, man. Try and be nice to one another.
Sometimes I can't get my mouse across 2 screens to get to my mute button.
Don't you have a mute button on your headset?
Yeah, I guess I do.
Sorry, I don't mean to call you out like that, but like,
I never use that mute because then I always forget to turn that one on or turn it back off. I'm like, why is it not working? It happens to all of us. I think it happens to Dan at least twice a D&D game.
Yeah, I'm probably the least likely to forget mute because I use, as a Denzian of the deep internet and of computers in general from ye olde days, I learned keyboard shortcuts first because back in ye olde days, mice were before a PS2 slot. They were back in the days of serial expansion ports, which were unreliable on software or on OS installation. And yeah, I've learned how to operate Windows with a keyboard and continue to do so to this day. Because Windows works exactly the same as it did back then. Well, not exactly the same, but in a lot of cases, very similar ways. So, yeah, I always just teach myself keyboard shortcuts. Like that's part of learning any new program or operating system is getting through to navigating with exclusively the keyboard. Because I do dumb things where I lose mouse control sometimes. Oh boy. Oh boy. So you guys can see I'm starting to do some blending. We're getting back to our mid-tone here. So our mid-tone being bearing blue. In order for it to be an effective mid-tone, you guys can see that it still isn't covering like a whole lot of the model. You can see that I have a lot of shadow color and not so much mid-tone. I am going through now and sort of glazing up using our mid-tone. And then I come back and feather out the edges on it. So I'll put down, a relatively thick bead of paint, and then I'll come back and just sort of feather back the edges. That's really the process. I'm going to keep it at a more comfortable distance for me to paint into, but just so you guys can see what the process kind of is, get it on there, clean the brush or void the brush, and we just smooth out that joint or that part of it. And then I will come back like on all of this stuff. This is blending. I'm using relatively thick paint to blend. If I took longer and did all the steps with glazing, did a little bit better job of voiding my brush, feathering that edge becomes a little bit easier. But I know how much blending I have left on these because I want to get them to competition quality paint jobs. So it is going to take a little bit. You guys can see here on our little friend just where we're headed with these guys. It is going to take a little while to get us to that sort of paint caliber. It's not a like 5-second process. It takes a little while.
Yeah. Yeah, I just finished my paint test model.
Oh, nice. How's your paint test looking?
I haven't actually started the paint test yet. I just finished building the model.
Nice.
I'm gonna let them dry up for a day. I built them really quick, so a lot of the glue didn't actually set before I started building him, or before I moved on to the next piece. So he's a little fragile right now.
That's fair. Are you using your Tamiya Ultra Thin, or are you using super glue? Like, is it a bunch of resin bits, or?
No, I'm using super glue. It's not resin bits. I do need to get super glue because I have the resin.
Yeah, I was gonna say you had to pop those monkey bits, didn't you?
Actually, the Tamiya worked really good. Like the extra thin worked really good to tack it.
Yeah.
And then I would just drip a little bit of the Tamiya cement onto the joint or the joint, and they're holding fine. Like I'm holding one of the guys I built on Tuesday by his sword blade and waving the mini around, and it's not moving.
Neat. Well, that's good stuff.
Yeah.
I do not trust glue ever. So
yeah, I do need some actual like super glue for my hardcore miniatures, Orc Buster suit, and my limited edition run Black Templars Emperor's Champion third party mini guy that looks really awesome.
Yeah, you know what? We are getting closer and closer actually to vaccines being a thing that we both have. I'm happy to say in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, or in Alberta, period. If you are under the age of 30, you can go right now, and I would highly, strongly, absolutely, with the most amount of encouragement possible, short of incentivizing you with money, go if you are eligible to get the vaccine. If you are not immunocompromised, if you are under or over the age of 30, you can go onto the AHS website right now. So you can go to albertahealth.ca. You can book literally right now, you can get onto AHS. You can book your vaccine appointment right now. You can choose when and where you want to receive it. I think you can even choose if there is a preference for at the available at the location or which vaccine you'd like to receive. But man, I've got people in my family who are both immunocompromised and in high risk age groups. And guys, it's been a hard year. Let's just get vaccinated. Let's just get vaccinated. I don't want vaccine. I don't want to get shots. Nobody wants to get that type of shots, but like let's just do it. Let's do it for each other. Let's do it because we're good human beings and we can. There are people who can't, and boy howdy, let's just work together on this. The worst version of COVID is the version that comes back and is absolutely immune to the vaccines that are out right now. And if we all run around like dum-dums, unvaccinated, that's going to be the thing that takes over. And it's going to be worse, and all the pain and suffering that we're feeling right now, and the feelings of being cooped up and lost and lonely and not seeing your family for years at a time and your friends for at least as long, that's all just going to be worse. So if we could band together, buck up, spend that week in pain from the second shot, but like just go do it, please, for me, for your loved ones, for humanity in general. We don't want to be living through the situation that's going on in India right now. That's hell, and I don't really want to live through 4 years of like ongoing, never-ending series of lockdowns for the rest of forever, because that's also what we're headed towards if we don't get this under control soon. And we have a chance here with vaccines, so please do it. I'll get off my stool or my throne, my auditory high horse now, but please, if you can, get vaccinated. Just yeah.
I mean, if everyone gets vaccinated, everyone can start hanging out again in person. It would be real rad. I kind of want people to all get it because I miss my fucking friends.
Oh yeah, and the worst part about this, best and worst part about this, and now I'm not a doctor, take this all with, the world's largest grain of salt.
Is it changing to 12 on Monday?
Yeah, it goes down to 12 on Monday. So right now you can book if you're over the age of 30. On Monday, May the 10th, if you are over the age of 12, you will be able to you can book your vaccine. There's no guarantees. Like I was 50,000th in line this morning and I managed to get 2. Oh, well, yeah. I mean, it's yeah. Well, you might be too gorgeous for masks, but I want to live through COVID, so I want this to end. As much as I really enjoy my masks, that I definitely bought masks that were just covered in snarky jokes. Like I have one that says FDA guaranteed to 100% prevent 100% of diseases. And then the other one is just for unspecified charity. Don't worry, the money goes somewhere. Listen, I have my snarky masks. I'd hope that we could all get to the point where we are vaccinated, because the alternative to this is that we don't get vaccinated, then we all end up with a variant of COVID that is vaccine resistant. Because of the way that we've developed these vaccines, we are attacking a physical structure on the vaccine. We are not giving you dead versions of the virus. We are literally giving you a virus that attacks a virus. If we lose this attack vector on this vaccine or on COVID, if we can no longer attach the way that we're attaching, it is another full vaccine development cycle. It is not tweaking the vaccine we currently have. The vaccine we currently have will be meaningless and worthless. We really need to get this taken care of before we develop a vaccine-resistant form of COVID. Good God. Oh, yeah. Well, actually, you know what? I've been thinking about this. I'm still going to wear a mask when I'm on airplanes, because airplanes is gross, yo. I don't want to be in a tin can with your breath and farts.
Yeah, that is fair.
I used to work on airplanes. I know how often they clean the seats inside of an airplane. And yes, COVID made it better for a little while, but y'all know, like I know that like 20 minutes after that is no longer a life-threatening illness, that it will not be a thing any longer, and everyone will be like, okay, we're back to 15 minutes to turn the airplane around. Any more than that, we'll start finding the company. Like that'll be what we go back to, no doubt about it. And airplanes will go back to just being like the resting place of a million farts. And farts are probably the best part of it. It's like the snot and other bodily fluids that's just yuck.
Yeah. On that note, Steve, I think right now is a perfect time for a break.
Oh, is it? All right.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, we're gonna take a little break here. We will be back in about let's give ourselves a solid 10 minutes. In the meantime, we're going to put up a slideshow here. If you guys want to have your work involved in the slideshow, you're more than welcome. You can always send it over to me. Just DM me on Instagram. You can hit me up. I'm at choiceminis, or you can send it through to our email address. You can hit us up at choiceminis.com. You can also like, subscribe, follow the video. If you have any friends that you think might be interested in hanging out with us on Tuesday, we stream Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, right here on old YouTube. And next week, as soon as I can spend a little bit of time messing around with this, we will be simultaneously broadcasting on YouTube and on Twitch. So next week we'll be broadcasting to both, but for right now, you can find us. We're Choice Minis on YouTube. On Twitch, we are going to be Choice Minis with a Z, because Choice Minis with an S is an account I lost access to years ago. So you can all make fun of me while we're on break. We'll be back in about 10 minutes, guys. And we are back. Adam has now booked his vaccine appointment. I have booked my vaccine appointment. Adam, that means at some point in time, you and I are going to get to hang out in person for like the first time in a year, man.
Do I have to wait for like? Can I hang out with other vaccinated people after like round 1, or do I have to wait for like all 3 rounds?
You're supposed to wait for your second round to be done. So it's 2 weeks after your second round. It is a lower chance. Again, not a doctor, but it is a lowered chance after your first vaccine. So after your first dose, the infection rate goes somewhere, or your vaccinated rate goes up to about 50 to 70% effective. After the second vaccine, 2 weeks after your second vaccine, you are somewhere in the 90s as far as percentile. The vaccines are specifically designed to work off of 2 doses. There is still a lot of chatter about a third booster, especially for those who received it early in the pandemic. So I'm talking about like doctors and stuff who got it in December, as opposed to, us regular didn't have to face COVID on a daily basis. Humans who are getting it now, because I'm one of those guys. I'm one of those regular humans. That's
Me too.
yeah. I mean, shout outs to the people who have had to go through this working every day in the face of possibly getting a life threatening disease, because I'm lucky and privileged enough to work from home.
I'm not any longer, but that's what I wanted. I wanted to not work at home anymore. It's not for me. I need to be outdoors and doing physical work for my money.
Totally fair.
Plus, I get to drive mini excavators and packers.
Again,
Packers are only fun on like flat surfaces. Once you're on like an unpacked surface, it is. I now understand why my coworker said it hurts your knees after I had to drive it back from a packed site across an unpacked path that was like a kilometer long to our tool trailer, and my knees just kept smashing off the control panel in front of me.
that doesn't sound like fun. Not gonna lie to
No,
you.
my knees actually started hurting talking about that.
Yeah. I honestly, I like doing the physical work. Obviously, as we redid the yard last summer, and I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. As much as I am a grumpy man while I'm working out of doors, I do actually like that sort of work. So
Yeah, it makes me really happy to work outdoors. So,
that
as you saw, I was having a good day that day.
oh yeah, yeah, we redid our backyard last summer. It was actually, you guys, I mean everybody, all of our friends did an enormous amount to help. So I cannot thank you guys enough for that, because not everybody would do that, and it is always special to me when friends want to help us, get through those sorts of jobs. So I as experience have my my parents are chronic renovators. I don't think there's a better term for what they are. No matter what house we've lived in, no matter where we've lived in my life, living with my parents, our houses were always in some form of disarray, so that they could be renovating some part of it. So I guess when I was a younger adult, I vowed to myself, I was like, I will never go through that. And now, in my 30s, I'm like, I wonder what I could renovate now. Renovations are actually kind of fun, because I don't know.
That's one thing I can work on is the weird decorative Chinese brass buttons I bought that I'm going to use for shields.
Neat. Yeah,
Yeah,
I always love finding those sorts of like weird bits that you're like, this isn't anything right now, but it could be when I change it all about.
yeah, it's actually from one of the White Scars Facebook groups I'm on. This one guy did it for his blade guard, and then he's like, "Hey, like here's the Etsy store link. It's like $6 American for um I don't know, I got like a dozen or 2 dozen buttons for like essentially like $8 Canadian."
Nice. I am wondering.
Oh,
So,
yeah. Oh, nice.
hey Adam, do you know, is it actually playing music on the stream, or is it not?
Uh-huh.
Because I can't tell.
No,
It's not playing
no
in my
music.
headphones. Neat. Well,
No music. I do have the volume on, but I did have to turn it up briefly to hear that.
Cool. It's supposed to be playing music. This is another one of those add-ons that I added into our stream hoping that it would work, but so far it hasn't been doing it. So far, no. Which is unfortunate, so you guys get to just listen to the beautiful sounds of Adam and I chatting away.
Yeah. So now I have just the top cap of this this button with the dragon, and it's already bronzed, and kind of like I don't actually think I will be painting the button itself.
Huh.
I don't know. I will wait to see once I actually get one of my Blade Guard guys assembled.
Totally fair. We will get to do a Blade Guard at some point, I'm sure, in Project Never Fallen. I can't imagine that I will get through all 20 chapters without turning one of them into a Blade Guard.
Working from home.
Sorry, what?
Oh, Sean just made a comment that Adam goes squirrely working from home, and I do.
Yeah.
I get really fidgety and super anxious. It's not cool.
No, that's totally fair. I mean, for the first, I want to say, basically until I moved in with V, like as soon as I had a roommate, things got a lot easier for me. But definitely that first year of working from home and being entirely by myself and like not having my puppers and all the rest of it, it was not. It is equally busy as being in an office. I am just as productive as I ever was working in an office.
I had never worked in an office or done that kind of work before, so it was a little bit of a shock to me.
Yeah.
And now I'm like back doing like literally what my body is made to do.
Oh yeah, no, my body is made to like store carbohydrates so that when the English come and try and take over our many moors, I can survive off of nothing but nettles for 8 months at a time. But you know,
yeah, my body is all like, hey, let's go do stuff, and you'll be happy. When you stop doing this stuff, you'll be bloody miserable.
That's totally fair.
But I mean, I will not lie. Shopify was a good place to work. It's not for everyone. The job is certainly harder than I let myself believe it was going to be, even though I knew the contrary.
Yeah, I don't want to get in trouble, so I'm not going to say too much about Shopify on the internet because I will gladly. If anybody wants to know my thoughts on Shopify, you can ask me in an offline forum or in a forum where you can't take screenshots of it because I'm going to say things that are probably no, they would definitely be considered slander. They would definitely be, well, they're written, so in this case, it would be considered libel.
Yes, I am actually legally not allowed to say anything negative about Shopify.
Yeah, well, that is the thing. That is the thing. I actually listened to an interview with the Shopify CEO this morning, and again, yep, you know what? We're not going to talk about this. We're going to start moving on to highlights on our model before Steve gets himself into even more trouble. I forget what this color is called.
More trouble.
Listen.
No?
Sorry?
I said no, not more trouble.
Not more trouble. No, not more trouble.
That's fair, because like I would also probably go to jail.
Oh, it's not so much jail. Just, yep, I have very particular opinions, and clearly there are people who disagree with me, but that's fine. This is Arctic Blue is what we're going to be throwing on there. Unfortunately, you can see this is something that I don't like about scale color colors. You can see it was definitely printed down here on the label, but my greasy nerd hands have, yep. Like you can see the UPC code is gone and I could probably rub the rest of it off here if I take another like 2 minutes. This is, yep, there it goes. And we're gone. So that is all. So far, that has been my experience with all of the scale color bottles. Printed material on them rubs off surprisingly, shockingly easily. Good news is that I bought all of them, and I know I don't have duplicates around and stuff, so it's not that big a deal that I'm rubbing off the labels on all of this stuff. I actually have most of the names memorized, so. Now, Arctic Blue, at least for me, is not a super great color, and this is mostly because I really want an ultrasonic paint shaker. I don't know what it is about my set of scale color, or if other people have scale color out there and want to talk to me about it. I ordered this from their website, from scalecolor.eu. No, .co.uk. Whatever, the European website as opposed to Scale Color USA. So it came to me from Spain as opposed to coming from the North American distribution warehouse. And like a third of these just need to have the hell shaken out of them. And I haven't yet. And it means that, just like you can see right now, I get big crusties of paint. Big old unbroken pigment bits. And that's rather unfortunate because I love the finish of these paints. I do not love the consistency of the ones that are bad, are very, very bad. And I'm having a hard time breaking up pigment clumps in them. And that makes me sad.
Oh, that is something neat that I'm gonna try.
What's that?
Well, because I'm building one of my blade guard because I
Yep.
want to test out the brass buttons for shields.
Yep.
And in doing so, I've discovered that with just a few quick cuts or clips, I can actually make about half of the storm shield fit in there.
Mhm.
So then with a little bit of green stuff, I might actually be able to make it look like it's still got all the power stuff, and I won't have to finagle it onto his arm and make a weird, gross join.
Nice.
Yeah.
So when we can get together, Adam, we've talked about this a little bit. Do you want to do a super special project together? Should we start planning out our
Oh, the secret project?
the secret project?
I think we probably should.
Ooh, secret project. I don't know. Do we want to keep it secret from the stream, or do we want to talk about it just because you know?
I think they know enough right now. They don't need. We've got other things to occupy their time. They don't need to know what the secret project is.
I love how we're talking about them as if they're not there and as if we're not live right now.
Yep.
Okay, well, sorry, stream. Adam says no fun for you guys today. Adam says you've all been incredibly terrible children and that he doesn't love you anymore.
That is all true. That's all true.
Wow. Harsh words, but definitely necessary, you know. Shape up, stream. Shape up and fly right. Otherwise, you'll never get a good job.
Yeah, you'll never earn my love.
Wow. No unconditional love. I will tell you that I love each and every one of you guys. I don't.
I mean, I have unconditional love. It's just maybe not for the stream.
Wow. It's because Sean's here, eh?
It is because Sean's here. If Sean doesn't have the stream so much.
All right. Well, stream, you know what to do. Send your hatred to Beach Vacation Mando on Instagram. Just go over there, pile on him, be internet bullies to him, and really let him know that it's not cool to be that way. But if for some reason you are still here and you want to know more about our super secret project, Adam, do you have any idea when we won't know when we're getting our second shots yet, will we?
No.
Stupid COVID. Well, once we get our second vaccines, we could probably, at that point in time, I guess we can start talking super secret projects. But in the meantime,
yeah, just know that there is a super secret project in the works, and you guys will find out about it one day. Just not now. Not going to be soon.
Not at this exact moment. Are we telling Sean? Oh, he's not a turd. Adam's a beautiful man.
See?
Beautiful
See,
bearded Adonis. I mean, the way you two treat each other, I don't know. I'm almost willing to take away your Captain Haddock. You were really building in my mind. You were building closer and closer to Captain Haddock, but Captain Haddock had like an unlimited number of amount of empathy. Even like Thompson and Thompson, those two were ridiculously incompetent.
I mean, this is fair, but Sean is the only one I talk to like this.
That's fair, but like
maybe my dad.
Oh well, yeah.
But to be fair, my dad starts it.
Okay, well, everybody's got their relationships with people. I'm not going to judge your guys' love. So you guys, while we were talking about other topics, I made a quick change. Just I am unhappy with how that is going with, or how it was going with the Arctic blue, so I'm setting that aside. On the palette here, I've just added a little bit of Mojave white, which is a pretty nice, like it's a warm off white, so it is sort of a yellowy white. It is a very light green color, and I'm using that now instead of our Arctic blue as our next layer of highlights. So we're not quite getting to pure Mojave white. Pure Mojave white will probably be our actual brightest highlight colors. If we take a look at our, when we take a look in a minute here at our, our paint test, our original model, we can see we're using specular highlights, so very small glints of light there. We're using those to really sell the fact that this is nice, shiny armor that our dude is wearing. So when we're doing those nice, shiny bits, yeah, that's what we'll pick up. Either pure Mojave white, we might also go all the way to white. I'm not convinced yet that we're going to go all the way to white, but that is a pretty good indicator of very high points on the model. We'll get that very high, glinting, bright highlight. So we aren't quite there yet. We will build to it. We will. It's always a process. This is the thing with any model where I had a plan going in. You guys, I don't know if you saw this. I do have paint plans for all my stuff. I document when I'm done. This is my basic plan. When I'm done the second test model, because I documented that after I did my first model. After I did the paint test, I just sort of wrote down everything that I used. When I get done with, large portions of the model that I'm happy with, I document that stuff because I like to come back to it. Because someday, long in the future, long after I've forgotten, or long after I've painted this stuff, I will have definitely forgotten how I painted any of it and what colors I used where and all the rest of it. So having a little bit of a paint plan is a shortcut to getting back to those places quickly. And I like having them. I've got a couple, 3 notebooks I think that I've got completely filled now with paint plans for a variety of projects, and that's just how I do my painting. Is I like having plans written down somewhere so that I can refer back to them when necessary. So.
I mean, that is a good idea. The amount of times I
paint stuff and I'm like, that is extremely cool. Too bad I have no idea how to ever get back there.
I actually just heard the cork pop.
Cork pop?
I heard a cork pop.
Oh. See, I have headphones on, so I can't hear what actually comes through. And since I don't actually do the monitoring on my mic level, because there is just enough delay introduced by USB that it makes me go squirrely. So thank you, V, for reminding everybody. Yes, please, if you're watching and you like what we're doing, you can always share us with a friend. You can head into the link in the description, the Willow Tree link, and it'll take you to our merchandise. So we actually have merchandise for these guys. These guys are the new Helmgard Giants. We have our other...
it's payday. I'm going to buy stickers.
Ooh. I actually have a sticker for you. So
I'm going to buy all the stickers. And
nice. Cool. Yeah, we've got t-shirts with the Orkland Raiders, Project Neverfallen, and the new Helmgard Giants all have their own stickers out there. If you want, you can also donate directly to us because YouTube doesn't allow us to monetize until we've got 1,000 followers. So obviously that is the goal in the long term, but in the short term, if you want to kick a couple of bucks our way, we're not going to say no. You can do that through the Willow Tree link. You can also go over to our Instagram. You can go to choiceminis. You can hit up Beach Vacation Mando. You can also, we've got a website out there, choiceminis.com. You can head over there. But really, and this is from the bottom of my heart, I just want to thank you guys for being on the stream with us. If you've got friends that are into the hobby with you, or if you don't, share it with people that you think might enjoy just hanging out with a couple of nerdy dudes who like to talk about painting things. And of course, if you're in chat and feel like it, you can always ask us questions. It doesn't have to just be Sean, Adam, and I, and V on occasion when she remembers to, or reminds me to do the whole like, subscribe speech, which thank you, V.
Yeah, I mean, I only ever do it after V does it because I'm also horrible at that.
Hey, it's nice that we have people out there reminding us to talk about these sorts of things because
Yeah, we're new. It happens.
yep, we are very new to this. I can't believe we're going to hit double digits for live streams. I was shocked to get the reminder from YouTube actually that we uploaded our first live video over a month ago.
Oh wow.
Yep. We got that first live stream was done just over a month ago now, so that's pretty neat.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah, it was this exactly a month ago actually, but 2 hours ago. So
yeah,
it was April the 6th was the first time we went live. So
also for those first time mini painters or builders, don't do what I just did and work on a super tiny piece, holding it over the dark abyss that is the underneath of your desk, and then drop it.
oh yeah, no, that's never.
But have that be the third time you've done it in about 5 minutes.
Oh wow, that is not a good ratio, man.
No, but I have like 60 of these things, and I'm probably not going to use all of them, so I'm just trying something out.
However you want to justify your folly.
Yeah, it's true.
I gotta say, I love having non-carpeted floors because finding bits in carpet is the worst. Also, getting painting carpet is also the worst. Not in this place, but in my last apartment that I was in before moving here, I had carpets on the floor, and I can tell you that getting null oil out of carpet, not fun, not fun, not profitable. Don't do it. It's not good. It's just not great.
It sounds super fun.
It was not. Took a lot of scrubbing, and even with the I borrowed my brother's carpet shampooer, and even then it took 4 runs of the carpet shampooer to get it to not noticeable during move out inspection. So I was happy that we got it to not noticeable during a move out inspection, but it wasn't an easy task to get it there, and I wouldn't wish that on most people. So I mean, some people I would wish it on. Like,
yeah, there's some people yeah.
If it was Hitler, I'd be like, nah, douse him in null oil. Make sure it gets all over his carpets.
Yeah, like, buy the big pot and then tip it.
Just knock it over.
I mean, you could just leave it open because Hitler was a fan of cats.
Oh, there you go.
So you just leave it open near the edge of a table, and the cat will take care of it.
See, we don't even have to assassinate him. We can just drive him insane by having null oil cover everything he loves.
And as he was also a shitty painter, it will drive him extra insane.
Was he a painter? Like, that's something I've never been fully clear on. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I haven't done a huge amount of investment into Hitler. I know he was an artist. I didn't know if it was painter or. I always assumed poet because he seemed like the type of man to be a bad poet.
No, he was a bad painter.
Okay.
I think it was I believe it was landscapes.
Listen, this feels like a good time to pivot to a different topic.
Absolutely.
We don't need to talk about Hitler. I keep wondering, and maybe chat, maybe you have some thoughts on this. We run the Hits on 2+ every week, and I've been sort of branching out on what I suggest in the Hits on 2+. Do you guys want podcast suggestions? Because I got lots of podcasts. I got feelings about podcasts, and I never know when it's appropriate to just shout out podcast suggestions. Maybe I should just suggest it right now.
Maybe. I mean, I've got a couple of podcasts, well, at least one podcast suggestion for those who like Gundam and live roleplay.
Sure. Hey, in chat, if you've got suggestions for your favorite podcast, that's what we're going to talk about for the next little bit. So, Adam, what's your Gundam? What's your suggestion here?
I will have to quickly look it up. I am a bit behind on it. because I caught up, and then there was a cliffhanger, and then it was like Christmas break, so they didn't release any for a bit. Where's my Spotify?
Totally fair. While you're looking that one up, I am going to give my suggestion. There is a I don't know if this is in the wheelhouse for everybody on stream or not, but back in ye olde days of 2010, there was a website called crack.com, and it has been around since, well, Crack magazine was around in the 70s, but like crack.com was a great website there for a little while. They got bought out by an investment company. They fired all their full-time staff, blah, 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 blah. At any rate, all the writers who used to work for crack.com, who also happen to be all the people in their YouTube videos and all the rest of it, so if you've seen any of those, they have gone on to bigger and better things since then. There is one guy in particular, Reverend Dr. Robert Evans. Reverend Dr. Robert Evans has a podcast called Behind the Bastards. If you ever want to learn about all of the worst people in all of history, you can find him on Twitter at iWriteOK. You can find his glorious podcast on wherever you get podcasts, most notably, like for the most part, it's just Apple or Google or not Spotify, but any of the other ones that you listen to. Go and find Robert Evans. He is a great journalist. He's a conflict journalist. This is an actual thing. Experimenter of many drugs, doctor of medicine, and reverend doctor in the state of New Jersey. And he is great. Everybody should listen to Behind the Bastards. What was your Gundam podcast, Adam?
I'm still trying to find. I'm not finding it on
Oh no,
Spotify right now. It's weird. I know they changed their thing. Did it get taken off? I think one of their other ones, but it's not the. Oh, weird. I've got it somewhere. I think it's on my Facebook.
If you are looking for more hobby, more in our wheelhouse, if you don't want to learn about the worst people on the planet on any given day, I would also suggest a podcast called Imaginary Worlds. It's a great podcast. It is sort of about why, or the things that led us and why we suspend our disbelief to believe in our sci-fi and fantasy worlds. I love the podcast. It is a cool exploration of what it means and why we suspend disbelief, and investigating into all sorts of aspects of both science fiction, fantasy, and world building. So it's a fun little podcast. It comes out every other Friday. And it really is fun. It's really a fun podcast. As much as I love Behind the Bastards, sometimes Robert takes on pretty hefty topics. He has been embedded in Afghanistan, and recently, like his last big trip was to Syria / Kurdistan, just before the American allies pulled out of their weapons, or of their mutual aid treaties with them, and sort of left their allies in a lurch. At any rate, Imaginary Worlds, great little podcast, super fun, super duper fun.
So the one I was looking for is, it's called Fetty Scum.
Okay.
It is a live Gundam RPG podcast.
Okay.
The game master is actually, like, this is a playtest for his homebrew Gundam RPG, because apparently there isn't one in English.
Cool. I mean, not cool that there isn't one, but cool that he's got his own that he's putting out there. That's neat.
Yeah, it seems like it's him and his buddies. It's pretty ridiculous at times. By pretty ridiculous at times, I mean it's full on ridiculous the entire time.
Okay.
It's really fun to listen to. There's a surprising amount of like obscure Gundam knowledge, and it is, I should say, it is set in like the original Mobile Suit Gundam universe, and it does take place like during the 1 Year War, but pre-Gundam.
Okay.
For anyone who knows anything about Gundam,
I do not, but I do like making Gundam models, and I've always thought about doing that on live stream. But at any rate, continue. Sorry, I didn't mean to just dirt road
that's
you there.
okay. Yeah, it's super fun. They have 46 episodes out right now. Their last one just released on April 27th, so check out their
And
They
sorry,
are.
what was that called?
It's called Fetty Scum.
Betty
Like
Scum.
FEDDIE Scum. It's
Betty
by
Scum.
yeah. They have like a little media thing called Dead Set Media, and they also have a few other like RPG podcasts and stuff. I think they have merch.
Neat. Well, go out, check them out. Go see what's going on over there. That sounds really
Yeah.
fun, man.
It's super fun. I think eventually they will be releasing like the RPG rule set and stuff that they're using, because it seems it's very streamlined. Like lets you do a lot of like freeform stuff where roles are guidelines.
Yeah, that always comes down to kind of the table, because I've been at tables where you can play D&D that way. I've been at nothing but rolling D&D tables. Not saying that one is better than the other or vice versa, but there's always a plethora of ways to play, and I think it always comes down to how the table wants to play the game. And I am a rules lawyer, so everybody can deal with how I want a rules lawyer.
Hey, there's nothing wrong about rules lawyering. That helped us, discover that for 5 years we'd been using disengage wrong.
Yeah, because we never read the rules and just kind of winged it.
We're like, hey, is this how it works? Yeah, that sounds right. Let's go with that. Okay. Then like 5 years later, hey, that's not how it works at all.
Yeah, well, we've been playing 5e since it came out, essentially.
Yeah, I think I've been playing since the playtest.
Yeah, I did not play in the playtest. I didn't play D&D Next. I was very excited for D&D Next, and I'm glad that I got the chance to join a D&D group again, because it had been a little while since it had one. So it was super cool when I got invited into your D&D group, and that's how we became friends.
Yeah, over Dungeons and Dragons. I mean, that was I've only been playing. I've pretty much only played 5e. I did play I played one game of 4th in Curse of Strahd for 4 point whatever the last one was. But was there 4.5 or was there just 4?
No, it was just 4. So there was 3, 3.5, and 3 and 3.5 had a lot of common rules, though they were different editions for sure.
Yes.
Then previous to that, there was Advanced Dungeons and Dragons 2nd Edition. Then there was AD&D, and then there was Dungeons and Dragons, and then before that there was Chainmail, and then before that there was something else. And they were all essentially no, Hero Quest is Games Workshop.
Yeah.
So Chainmail was Gary Gygax's first rule set in combination with the other two D&D creators, whose names I'm going to forget, Dave Arneson and I'm going to forget his name, and that feels bad because he's the one who had to sue Gary to actually get acknowledged as one of the creators of D&D. At any rate, yeah, it was actually a Napoleonic War. So, fun story, D&D actually started as a squad combat game.
Hey, cool.
Yeah, so Chainmail was a take on Napoleonic combat, where they put fantasy creatures into it, and then they added on hero mechanics where you could level your hero up, and then it slowly turned into D&D, and then D&D First Edition, so Dungeons and Dragons First Edition was it was just more of a formalizing of those rules, and all of that was assembled inside of the Lake Geneva home that Gary lived and worked in. At any rate, long story short, I've played all the way from. I have played, but I didn't go. I didn't actually start with it. I have played Dungeons and Dragons, like the original Dungeons and Dragons. I've played every single edition. Fourth is probably the one. Fourth and Dungeons and Dragons are the ones I've played the least. AD&D is probably after that, and then 2nd edition, and then 3rd edition, and then 3.5, and then 5th. 5th is probably the one I've played the most of now. No, I've still played more 3.5 than 5.
Yeah, it has 5. Like when I think it was like, I've only been playing D&D for a couple of years, but it's been almost a decade.
Yeah, we're creeping up on those dates. I graduated 8 years ago now, so yeah, we're creeping up on those days because still in school when we first started that group up. Sean, if you ever want to play, you can just let me know. I run a bi-weekly group on the internet right now. We're waiting to get the Mac back before I can run it again, just because I can't run it on my work computer. It is minorly insecure in the most secure way I can make it. As somebody who has some pretty extensive IT experience, it is about as secure as I can make it, but it's not something where I would put it on my primary, just for reasons. So it's one of those things that, yeah, we will get back to that at some point. But if you're ever interested, I like running D&D. I like running new people through D&D. So if you're serious in playing,
I've never DM'd.
That's it can be a lot of work depending on how you want to do it. Everybody makes it out to be an incredible burden, but for the most part, it is just a difference of where the burden is placed. So a lot of my time with D&D isn't actually spent during the session. A lot of the session is just sort of rules keeping and trying to make sure that everybody is engaged and having fun. A lot more of my work is, in advance of a session. So it's not that it's a terribly onerous amount of work every time, but it is an amount of work. It is not zero work.
I do remember playing that one-off where we made superheroes and I made Snake Eyes from G.I. Joe.
Oh, we got 2 or 3 run-offs out of that.
Oh yeah, and I made
That was when we were playing. Basically, you get to be superheroes, Avengers style, and everybody can take level 12 characters starting right away.
Yeah,
because then you can just punch your way through entire hordes of orcs. It's fun.
Yeah, but I remember you hand drawn an entire city.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's just squares and stuff, but that's the sort of thing I like doing. So
yeah, that's true.
I
used to do that stuff as a kid a lot.
Oh yeah, no, I like the world building aspects of being a DM. That is probably the reason I like being a DM as much as I do, because I get to make up weird fantasy worlds inside of my head and think too long about side quests, and not all of it ever makes it to the tabletop, and that's totally fine.
That's fair.
It doesn't have to. That is my hobby time, and now actually most of my hobby time gets to go into making cool graphics and stuff like this graphic. That's right, everybody. It's time for a contest of champions. Oh boy, I love that graphic so much. Real life, actual facts. So we're back this week with Contest of Champions. For those of you who it is your first time, the rules of this segment are pretty easy. Each one of us nominates a champion from any place or time in history or fiction, and they protect our honor. How do they defend our honor? Well, audience, that is up to you. In the comments, you can write what you think would be the ultimate field of honor upon which our champions can do battle. And it doesn't always have to be battle. Some of these are pretty ridiculous. Whichever champion wins goes on the next week, and the loser is relegated into the realm of losers? The realm of loss?
Yeah. Come on. Gandalf the Grey lost to Tribbles in the very first one. That's into the only one that he could actually, or the Tribbles actually would have won, got picked.
Yep. So the rules for this is you have to choose a timeline or a universe or a cohesive set of people. So for example, this week Adam has chosen Jack Black from the Pick of Destiny. I have my champion, returning champion.
Two-time returning champion.
Yeah, of course. The two-time returning champion after defeating the Tribbles and second in command of the Sith, who was never a Jedi Master and was a very sad boy, Darth Vader. Returning, of course, the most desirable.
The Enterprise.
Yes, returning, of course, the most desirable man in the Alpha Quadrant, archaeologist who got stabbed on his way to space camp, the champion, Jean-Luc Picard. And of course, we're facing off against Jack Black. We have 6 possible places that we could be facing off this week, and I have a cool new thing that I can do. Yeah, hopefully it works. We are going to roll to see who is going to, or where we are going to be battling. Let's spin the wheel.
Oh, we can spin the wheel?
All right, so this week's challenge for Jack Black and Jean-Luc Picard. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. So our champions will be taking the stage at a variety open mic night and beat the other champion using the applause meter to testify to the winner. So Jean-Luc Picard and Jack Black find themselves at open mic night.
This is amazing because, like, we're both musicians, so it's going to be so good.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Comedian Jack, well, I guess in the Pick of Destiny continuity, Jack Black isn't a comedian. He is purely a musician, but Jean-Luc Picard, as we know, is a musician in TNG, so I'm using TNG Jean-Luc. Now, do I get to use alternate dream mode Jean-Luc from the Inner Light?
No. Because then I'd get to use other Jack Blacks. And I could take Jack Black from Brutal Legend.
Hang on. I am talking about Jean-Luc inside of TNG still. Like, he hasn't left the TNG universe. It's just that within the Next Generation, in the episode The Inner Light, Jean-Luc travels outside, like he travels into a future version of himself and learns how to play the flute.
Yes. I guess if you did that, I would be able to take Baby Sass.
That makes sense. That does make sense. That is a drug-fueled sequence. Drug-fueled dream sequence?
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. Okay, so you can take Baby Sass. That makes sense. I feel like if I could spend more time as Jean-Luc Picard inside of the Inner Light universe and maybe study the flute a little bit more than learning just the noise from the inner flute. Or the Inner Light, the inner flute. Maybe I could learn more than that one crappy song. I'm going to get so much hate if this ever goes viral. Somebody is going to figure out that I made fun of Jean-Luc's flute playing, but it's playing the tin whistle. Like, it's not hard. Yeah.
Like, hey, those same guys that are going to give you hate for that are also the same guys that call Jean-Luc Picard British.
Jean-Luc Picard is French.
He is French.
Chateau Picard is in Brittany.
Yeah. And for those of you who don't know your geography very well, Brittany is actually in France. It's across from Britain.
Oh, yeah. No, this is the place where the British and French just kept having fights because the French were like, it's France. And Britain's like, yeah, but we're there. And then it would go back and forth through a variety of kings and inheritances for all of time. And then
hundreds of years.
The 100 Years' War was fought over Brittany. So
yeah.
At any rate, okay.
Yeah.
Well, can I take the stage first? Do we coin flip for who goes first?
I think you can go first on this one. Should we coin flip? I know. Chat, should we coin flip? Be quick.
Because I feel like I'm going to be prepping my flute solo, my jazz flute. But after that, Jean-Luc's going to have this is going to be a thing. This is going to be a thing, everybody.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Help me, chat. Help me. How does Jean-Luc... Okay, well, fine. We'll start off. Jean-Luc takes the stage in his dress formals. So he's in his...
That's classic.
Yeah, oh yeah, he's going to class up the joint. He's going to sit down on a single stool, and then he's going to just sit there, not address the audience at all, and play directly from his heart. Loser. Oh, okay. Loser goes first. Well, sorry, Sean. Too late. Jean-Luc's on stage.
Yeah. And
solo spotlight. Oh, yeah. Solo spotlight on Jean-Luc, and he is going to play the song from Inner Light to what I can only imagine is light snapping of the fingers.
Oh, yeah.
Not high on the applause meter, but nothing said we couldn't take the stage a second time. I'm warming them up. I'm warming them up here. I've got a plan to this.
Okay.
This is a very battle of the bands situation here that we're getting ourselves into.
How many songs? How are we going to put a limit on how many songs we each get? Like 3 songs each?
Okay, let's go with 3 songs each.
Okay. All right. So, after Jean-Luc puts the audience to sleep with the sweet sounds of a tin whistle,
boo.
Jack Black and Kyle Gass take the stage, the musical geniuses they are.
Oh, you're gonna blow your wad right away here and bring Cage up with you. All right. I see where you're going.
Yeah, I'm going there. We're gonna start it off gently, like fucking her gently.
Oh boy. All right. That is the thing. All right. So you're gonna play a little FHG on stage, are you?
Yep.
Gonna try and drown in panties and not gonna cook it, but a load of it from Zanzibar. All right, okay.
Yep. See, like you're even singing it right now.
That's fair. I mean, I all right. Knowing that Jack Black and Cage have taken the stage and done their best with the oh boy. Okay. At this point in time, Jean-Luc comes back to the stage. Penny whistle in hand. And he said he clicks on his chest communicator and says, "Number 1, you'll need it on the planet."
But the Enterprise is gone.
Oh.
Vader destroyed it.
Vader destroyed the Enterprise, but that's not saying that they haven't set up a new colony on whatever version of Earth this is, or whatever Q fever dream I assume that we are inside of. I haven't lost the crew of the Enterprise. I may have lost the ship, but I did not lose the crew.
Not all of the crew. You lost quite a few lower deckmen to Vader just butchering his way through the.
Listen, we got an unlimited number of red shirts. There's 2,200 people who serve aboard the Starship Enterprise, so I got lots of red shirts to go through here, and I'm gonna get a few of them to come down with Commander Riker, because Riker's gonna know the situation. He's like, oh man, captain's in what.
And are you busting out the Riker sax?
We are busting out Riker trombone, baby.
Oh, trombone.
Yep. So Riker is gonna, and it's not just. This is gonna be not just Riker trombone. This is gonna be flaming Riker trombone jazz combined with the smooth dulcet sounds of Captain Jean-Luc Picard accompanying him on the penny whistle, with a full backing band, because they constantly appear in 10 Forward and never explain how Riker has a backup band, but he does. I assume it's because he's like, listen, I'm the first officer, you will be in my band.
Yeah, or you're in latrines for the rest of the cruise.
Oh yeah, but they are definitely going to be playing some Rippin' Dixie right now. It is going to be some hot, flamey jazz going on right now.
Okay.
Definitely a crowd pleaser. Maybe not a panty dropper rock concert, but the styliness jazz that the 24th century can produce.
That's fair. I mean, I can get behind that. I always did really enjoy the Riker jazz scenes. I thought they were hilarious. But seeing that and seeing the game has been upped, and maybe a little homage to the opponents. The next song will be Wonder Boy in honor of Riker and his jazz.
Ooh.
Because
what is the secret
of
your power?
He is nothing if not
Wonder
a great sportsman.
Won't you take me far? Okay, I can hear it. I don't want to sing too much of it. I don't want a copyright strike against us. That's not true. Literally every time we upload something, we get a copyright infringement warning that I have to go and clear off because YouTube. Okay, you're gonna hit me with some Wonder Boy. All right.
Yeah, it's final song.
Ooh, this is the final song. Oh boy. You know who I think can rip an awesome beat but hasn't?
Dwarf?
Lieutenant Commander Data.
Oh yeah, yeah. Some
So we're gonna up the game one more time. We have called down number one. Commander Data. Engage techno mode. And he is gonna do the best robot as we accompany him with some trombone and some penny whistle. Some
panty whistle.
I went with penny whistle, but
Yeah.
listen, there is sweat beating on Picard's head as he gets through this solo. I mean, he spent a little bit of extra time spicing it up inside of the inner light realm. All right, definitely getting it going on. And now Data, he's got some sort of like crazy like 24th century console setup that is definitely just a synthesizer, like it 100% is, but he's got the robot going on. He's doing the mix. Riker on the trombone, Picard topping it all off with that tasty flute jam, the penny whistle jam, I guess. That is my finale, and there is like laser shooting out of the Data's like console. There's lights flashing inside of the bar. It is tasty. It is tasty, my friend.
Tasty jam.
It is a tasty jam.
Okay. Like seeing that, like this is some real competition.
Oh yeah, for sure. We are real.
Reaches into his shirt and pulls out the pick of destiny.
Ooh.
And like depending on where I am in time, like it could be the bong of destiny.
This is true. This is true.
Well, you know what? I'm not gonna go for the pick. I'm gonna go for the bong. So both Jack and Kyle get a rip of destiny.
Oof.
And they're gonna play the greatest song in the world.
It's not the greatest song in the world. It's a tribute. We didn't rehearse it. That actually worked out pretty well.
That did.
Yeah.
Oh man, that so did.
Yeah. Oh boy. All right. You know what? I can't. Even with techno Data, I don't think I can beat Jack Black. Man, I will give this one to you. That is Jable's contest to lose. I will concede to Jack Black and Kyle Gass on this one. We'll give the win to Tenacious D tonight. Oh yes. Boy. I can't believe it.
That was awesome.
I can't believe it. I was a little afraid that you weren't actually going to take the pick of destiny, because this was my plan from step one. If I had Jack Black, I would have been like, Jean-Luc walks into the parking lot of our random open mic night bar, and he is immediately confronted by Beelzebub, and then Jean-Luc and Jack Black have to play for their souls, baby.
Oh yeah, that would have been a good.
And then it is a contest between Jean-Luc Picard with his flute, Jack Black with his guitar and amazing voice, and then Dave Grohl. It's Dave Grohl, the devil. Oh boy. Well, you won that one. We will crown it tonight. Jack Black officially the champion of our tonight's contest of champions. Yes. Oh man. Excellent work, sir. I have to hand it to you.
I mean, literally the only one on the list he probably would have won. Again. I mean, if like last time between Vader and Jean-Luc, if it wasn't just make $1 million, it would have been a little bit easier for Vader. That was a tricky one, but this one was quite fun. I enjoyed this one.
Yeah, man. So if you guys want to participate in our contest of champions, we are always looking for new contests. You guys can have yours added to the big wheel. If your contest gets picked on the big wheel, we've got prizes. I've got t-shirts, I've got stickers, anything you see in the store that is under $35, it goes up into the draw. So if you are chosen to be added to the wheel, you can hit us up. You can send it to a message in chat. You can suggest stuff to our email address at choiceminis at choiceminis on Instagram, choiceminis@gmail.com as our email address. You can even hit me up Twitter DMs at choiceminis on Twitter. Let me know if you guys get if yours gets chosen, if your contest of champions gets chosen, and remember, it doesn't have to be anything crazy. We got some weird ones on the list here. We have the Around the World in 80 Days contest. We have who can do the Raiders of the Lost Ark opening, and we had an open mic night. So any of your crazy suggestions, we would love to hear them. Send them in to us. You can hit us up, as I said, at choiceminis on your social media of choice, or choiceminis@gmail.com, and we will totally take your suggestions and put you in. The second that it comes up, you will get a prize from us. So
Also, if either of our champions loses, feel free to suggest a champion to us that you think can beat the reigning champion.
oh yeah, I am looking for suggestions. If you guys have got them, I need suggestions on how I can beat Jables, because I'm not gonna lie to you, Jack Black, I have a D&D character. Adam's met this D&D character. I have
love
a
that D&D character.
D&D character named Drac Black, who is a black dragon, who is Jack Black as the Black Dragonborn. He is a bard. It is ridiculous. He uses his acid breath, which is one of the skills you get as a dragonborn. You get to breathe whatever your breath weapon is once a day. At any rate, because I'm a black dragon, I get to breathe acids. So he has the face melter, which he definitely uses and calls it the face melter in person. So
yes, it's amazing.
Yeah, and he is basically, I play him straight up as Jack Black from Jack Black in the Pick of Destiny / the Tenacious D HBO specials. It's kind of a combination of both, since they're both an extension of one another. To talk about our model a little bit, we are getting closer and closer here. Obviously, there's still some pretty rough transitions and stuff all around the model, but we're just now refining. Again, it's just time. It's just time and layers and glazing to get it to nice smooth blends across all of the model here. I guess I should talk a little bit. I don't really talk that much about technique, but I want to highlight this a little bit. So you guys,
I finished my blade guard.
Oh, nice. I'm gonna just get my thumb in focus here. So this is what I normally paint with as thickness. So it's I'm gonna get a little bit darker color. Hang on. So when I'm normally painting, like when I'm layering onto the model, when I'm sketching onto the model, this is about as thick as the paint goes on. You can see it on my thumb there. It is semi-translucent because we're using acrylic paint, and that is part of the lovely joys of acrylic paint, is that it goes on semi-translucent. You can still see the skin under it. But as soon as I go over it a couple of times, if it were actually dry and I wasn't just lifting it back off my nail, you do build up opacity by going over several times. When we swap techniques and we go from layering to glazing, you guys can see, so I'll just do it once again on my nail here. Consistency changes quite a bit, and you can see just how thin the consistency of paint goes down to. That is where that is actually a little bit dry or a little bit too translucent, but we're looking for about that actually. So you can see it is translucent. Like we are not putting a huge amount of paint onto the model, and that is just, we sweep that from wherever the light is to wherever the dark is. Hey, Adam bought an Oakland Raiders shirt. Thanks, man.
And stickers. I bought one of every sticker.
Nice. Yeah, you two can get on stream if you want. God, that scared me. We've never had somebody buy merch while we've been online before.
Nope.
But
I've wanted to, since you showed me the Oakland Raiders shirt, I was like, I need that.
Fair enough.
I need that in my life.
Totally nifty. Yeah, if you guys want to go online, you can just go into the Willow Tree link that is inside of the episode description, actually, or wlo.link@choiceminis. That'll also get you there. You can see our merch shop. You guys can get yourself stickers or whatever else you'd like. Yeah, it's a great way to support the channel and make sure that Adam and I can continue, putting as much time into this as we possibly can, because I like doing this, but there is a lot of pressure in the world to make sure that things are successful. So thank you very much, Adam.
Hey, no problem, buddy.
Now we can spend the extra money that comes in from that drinking. Actually, yeah. Well, yeah, we'll get together and have some fun when we can safely gather, because We're both vaccinated.
Yes, I'm pretty excited for getting vaccinated. Like, I wanna.
Oh
I
yeah,
miss being able to. I miss being able to see my friends. Like, that's the main.
oh yeah.
I'm selfish. My main reason is like I want to hang out with my friends in person. I want to play D&D in person. I want to sit in your backyard and watch our dogs be crazy while we chain smoke and drink beer.
Totally fair on all of those points, man. I miss you so much that it hurts sometimes.
Also,
I miss D&D.
don't smoke, kids. It's bad. Do not advocate ever smoking.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I have a cigarette maybe every once in a while at work, but that's about it.
Yeah, I would advocate never starting. If you can escape life, never getting addicted to nicotine, consider it a life well lived.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I miss the heck out of you, man. I miss in-person D&D as much as I do have fun with our online.
I love our online one. It's like playing it's like playing an old school, like top-down, like 8-bit RPG game, but with my friends.
Yeah, it's very different from as far as experience goes, but and I miss last year definitely I missed having our big D&D camping sessions. Those are
especially when we all decided let's just go back to the cabin.
Yeah,
well, I guess it is glamping. It was we did have a very miserable last actually out in the woods camping.
It was cold and miserable.
It dropped like 40 degrees in like 3 hours.
Yeah, that's the mountains for you.
Yeah.
Them's the mountains for you. But yeah, no, I'm super looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to our super secret super project. I'm looking forward to that, being able to get to that sort of stuff in person, because that feels like it's going to be a good time.
Oh, here's a gem I found. Official GW White Scars name generator.
Ooh.
I just came up with Ochim, proud windspeaker of the Lightning Gate.
Damn, that is officially sounding.
Right? It's got to send Sean a link to how we can book his vaccination.
Sean, go on to ahs.ca. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell wanderers in the street, tell people who look like they are over 30 years of age, and even those who are under, let them know that on Monday they can go book online. It is, I am booked in on the 19th of May. It is, I assume, only getting further and further out as more and more people sign up, but like, do it.
Yeah.
The faster we can get vaccinated, the faster we are quashing the possibility of a vaccine-resistant variant of COVID coming up and putting all of the hard work and sacrifice that all of us have put in over the last year just straight into the toilet.
Yep.
Because we don't want this to become endemic. We really don't. We do not want this to become endemic. It has too high a death rate and way too high an infection rate for it to be a good endemic. It is not a cold. It is not the flu. This is real bad. Despite what certain people on the internet may tell you, it's real bad. Real bad. Despite what our premier might tell you. God, I hate that man. Anyway, we don't need to go there. Or maybe we do. I don't know. So yeah, other than like D&D, my puppy came home in December of last year. So Apollo is my youngest Shiba Inu. He came home last year actually it was in December, just before Christmas. And he has not gotten to meet as many puppies as he should, because combination of the pandemic and just when he came home, it was the day that he got his final set of vaccines, and they were like, it is safe to take your dog to the dog park. That night, it went from being 8 above to being 35 below. and it stayed 30 below for the better part of 2 weeks after that. So the poor little dude was finally able to go out and meet puppers, and like, nope, there is no way that like at that point in time, like he was just over 6 kilos of dog was gonna survive 30 below for any amount of time. So
Yeah. Like, I know our dog meeting will go well because my dog's Rocket's best friend is Artemis, your oldest Shiba Inu, and he's also very dog focused. I think the palette cam cut out.
oh yeah, the palette cam is unfortunately I am looking at a solution for this one, and it will eventually get put in place, but the palette cam overheats my poor little Pixel 4, and when it overheats the Pixel 4, there is very little I can do about reviving my poor little cell phone. And I do have a webcam here, but the webcam has the resolution of a potato. So that nice 480p stream that is all my coworkers get to see me on, because I don't rearrange the streaming setup so that it can see my face, because you guys want to see minis. You don't want to see my ugly mug. You want to see the minis. Speaking of which, we're getting pretty close here. We've got, long story short, not everything is smooth. There's still things that I would move around, but we are getting very, very close here with this armor. If I was to rate it, we are probably about, I'd say about 75, maybe 80% of the way through this armor. The rest of this armor does not get finished at this point in time. Like, I'm not going to keep, I'm going to do a little bit of cleanup here, probably off camera, and as we finish up the stream here. But we don't do 100% paint jobs right now. Like, we will get to that 100% figure sometime in the near-ish future. But we want to go through and do things like block in base coating for all this edge banding and all the rest of it. We want to block in some of the like clothing color and stuff like that. Like, there's lots of other detail on this model that we want to tackle, because we want to set overall lighting conditions. So as much as I've set our direction of light to be coming sort of this way on our model it would be the equivalent of this way on our model. Cool. We want to make sure that we are blocking in light levels and all the rest of it at a very similar, so as if it were coming straight out of the camera at our model like this. As much as that's cool, we want to make sure that we get everything to the same sort of lighting level, and I'm not going to bring full brightness on one part of it without being able to see where it's balanced against other parts of it. So we bring it to about 75, 80% or so, and then we'll go through and do some of the other aspects of the model, like probably off camera, because it is fairly simple. If we look at our dude here, he's just wearing gray undershirt here that is fairly shiny, so I'll probably put the undershirt on. I'll probably also do his skin. We talked a little bit about skin tone last time, but I do a variety of skin tones with dwarves. With any of my models, I just like to represent a variety of skin tones. So it's one of those things that we'll probably do more work as far as skin tones and stuff, and then we'll talk about non-metallic metal. It'll be 2 weeks before we're back to these guys, but we'll talk about non-metallic gold. The non-metallic gold that's on here, we're going to update it a little bit on our next guy. I've been working on a recipe for it, so yeah, we'll get some non-metallic gold to go on our dwarf, and then we'll continue to work on his beard. Now, the fun thing about, and this is something that we haven't really talked about on stream, the fun thing about doing the dwarves like this and doing like an individual model at a time, or like the Orkland Raiders where we're doing one skin tone at a time, the fun thing about doing it this way is it does get faster, right? Every time I use these colors, every time I bring them out onto the palette, I get a little bit more familiar with them. I understand their coverage and lighting and luminosity properties and stuff a little bit better. So the next time we go to do this paint job, it's faster. And that's just a part of working with every paint. I mean, I'm fairly new to scale color. I only had these for 4 months. I used Vallejo and Citadel combination for the last 5.5 years. So all that to say, we will be speeding up these models. We're not going to be stuck on this forever. And we do get to start doing maybe the more fun part of this project, which is a lot of the diorama building. Which, if you guys have suggestions, and I know Adam and I have talked about suggestions a little bit for the Orkland Raiders, but I am still at a loss. I want to do, with these guys, I really want to do a crowd scene. I think I want to put them on the actual pitch, but I don't know. What do you guys, what does the internet think a dwarf football pitch, like American football pitch, looks like. What do you guys imagine when I say the words dwarf football pitch? You can leave it in the comments. You can, again, all the regular things, send it to me on the internet somehow. Carrier pigeons don't typically work, but you can try it if you're really dedicated to the cause and want to train a pigeon to find me. That's cool, but probably not the easiest way of getting a hold of me. But yeah, put your thoughts out. What do you think? What do you think a dwarven football, like fantasy football pitch, actually looks like? Because I have thoughts, but I want to hear. I want to hear from you guys because, I mean, the obvious answer, and I don't know, Adam, what your thoughts are, but the obvious answer is to make it look like Erebor from Lord of the Rings, right? Like from the Mines of Moria.
Yeah, it'd be like that, like, and then the kind of like very fine worked stone and pillar work, underground because they're dwarves, but around like just the like most immense field of play,
Yeah, so I had
and probably with some sort of weird dwarf pseudo technology stuff to have like a score counter.
fair enough. I yeah, I've been thinking about this for a little while, and I do like. I mean, I want to keep the sort of dwarven architecture theme. There was a part of me that was like, well, maybe we do a locker room instead, but I want to do a locker room with the Orkland Raiders. I really want to do a Raiders locker room, mostly because there is one thing that I don't think I've ever actually shown on stream. The Raiders in the box, like in the gouged eye orc box, which is what we are painting based off of, because for GW contests you have to use GW minis, and as much as they allow you to do modifications to them, it has to be the majority of the presenting model needs to be made of GW only parts. So that means you can hack GW bits together, which meh. But regardless of that, the Gouged Eye Orcs come with footballs. Like all the teams come with footballs. And the Gouged Eye Orcs have a football that is a squig. It is just a straight up squig. Like it is a squig. There's a little squig foot on it. It looks like a roasted chicken, except for it's a squig football. And I want to make a little like Gretchen or something, like just a snotling or whatever, who is inflating squigs and turning them into footballs. That is what I want. That's why I want to make a locker room. There's no other like good reason for it other than I want there to be a pirate locker room that has a tiny little like snotling. For those of you who don't play or who aren't familiar with the lore for Warhammer Fantasy or Warhammer Age of Sigmar, a snotling it's a goblin. Like they're goblins. They're goblins from every other form of fantasy. They're little tiny dudes that the orcs all boss around because the orcs are cooler. At any rate,
Gretchen are hobgoblins.
Depending on what your definition of a hobgoblin is, hobgoblins in D&D are different than hobgoblins in like fantasy lore or fantasy literature.
That is true.
Hobgoblins in fantasy D&D are like goblin captains.
Yes, I know. Like snotlings are like what you get before you get Gretchen.
Yeah, so snotlings are the littlest of the boys. They are
goblinoids.
They're the smallest little mushroom men, angry space mushrooms. But yeah, I want a poor little guy that somebody is yelling at, who is like his only job in life is to inflate poor squigs. Inflate squigs. Just go and look it up. They are ridiculous. They are basically beach balls with teeth. They are like if Pac-Man was invented in a fantasy world where the only things was skulls and teeth. If a testicle had legs and teeth, you basically have found your way to a squig.
Yeah, they're like squigs are also like highly aggressive.
Oh yeah, yeah. But the ones that like our little snotling friend is. You have a figure that might work? Yeah, I know there are some snotlings that I've already looked at. There is one. from the Mech Boys workshop, I think it was. There was it is plastic, but it is a limited edition one, and it was the Mech Boys terrain. So it was when they had like the whole buggy and all the rest of it. There's the snotling from that I really, really want because he's wearing like a cagey face mask and all the rest of it, and has like a little apron on. Not that I couldn't model that stuff, but yeah, there was one on Teddy Ruxpin. You are correct. It is a bad guy on Teddy Ruxpin. Not the Iliop. It's called something else, but at any rate, that is my idea for the Orkland Raiders. Is they are going to get a locker room because I feel like the pirate orc locker room based off of the Orkland or the Oakland Raiders is going to just be it's going to be a fun rowdy time, and I'm going to enjoy modeling that, especially with the idea of a burnt out pirate ship being my sort of other inspiration there. But I'm still trying to find the like killer idea for our dwarf friends here. I don't know that I've found it yet. And that's okay. We got time. But that is also a part of what we're going to be doing on this stream is making our boards. So we're limited to 22 by 30, I believe, is the Armies on Parade board sizes. I've got it written down in places. But yeah, I'm looking for inspiration. If you guys want to help me along on that, if you have cool ideas or suggestions that you want to put up, I'm all ears because we're still real early in this process. So, and that's maybe another part of this is I'm not going to have all of the lighting done until we've actually placed models on the board, because part of placing an army in a display board is they need to be lit as if they were standing on the display board.
I mean, that does make sense, and I have seen guys who have not brought that into play.
Yeah, well, it is, I'm really looking forward, and I look forward to the day where it actually ships. I did the Kickstarter for the Golden Demon Compendium completed just about 2 weeks ago. So we're gonna start seeing more and more news about that. But when I do finally get my copy, I look forward to going with it and through it with you guys on stream, because a lot of the painting technique that I'm talking about, thin glazing and lighting direction and bounce lighting, when we get to that sort of stuff, like when all of that stuff, this is all very advanced and it's not recent in the world of art. That's not where the recency comes through. It is recent in our hobby to start having people talk about this stuff in a fine artsy way. This is all stuff that I learned in art classes and watching online videos and all the rest of it. This is stuff that I'm still practicing and getting better and better at, because it is how you win competitions now. It's not that it has to be lifelike, it's still stylized, but it is more and more about the actual like fine art aspects of our hobby. So I'm always excited to learn new techniques and stuff. But it is, talking about these advanced techniques, you don't have to do them. You don't. You can get to, whatever your standard for a paint job is, and as long as you're happy with it, that's cool. Don't ever feel like you need to compare yourself to what you see on IG. First of all, I don't compare myself to what I see on IG, because if I did, I would just hang it all up and be like, no, there are much better painters out there than me. And that's true. And there are commission guys who can paint, they would have had this entire model painted on this stream, but that's not what this stream is. This stream is about hanging out and talking about whether Jack Black or Jean-Luc Picard would win in an open mic night.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that was the one that came up. I'm ecstatic about that. But yeah, like wherever you're happy in the hobby, like you don't have to do extreme paint jobs. You don't have to spend, it's going to be, we're getting into hour number 3 on armor, and I've still got probably, like, knowing the process and knowing where I want to end up, I've still probably got 2 to 3 more hours just on this one figure's armor, and I've got 12 of these guys to do in total.
Yeah, and I quickly smashed together a Warhawk's Blade Guard.
Yeah, so it's always about, like, this hobby and life in general should be about what makes you happy. We aren't here to stress. We're just here to have some fun. And Adam, buddy, I love you, man.
I love you too, dude. Can't wait till we get vaccinated and hang out.
Oh man, I cannot wait. Thank you, everybody. And I love every one of you that's on the stream right now or watching in the future. I'll see you. I see you, future people watching us on YouTube, and I love you guys too. Thank you guys so much.
What is it like in the world of next Tuesday?
Yeah, what is it like in the world of next? I mean, who knows? They could be watching from like 25 years from now. Imagine there's still YouTube 25 years from now, and somebody's like, "Oh damn, this dude was painting this thing. I'm gonna sit down and watch."
The country of YouTube.
Oh, yeah. Listen, future people, if you live in the country of YouTube, the revolution has failed, and I'm sorry. At any rate, thank you everybody for watching, commenting, liking. Sean V, thank you guys so much for being with us. I am Steve Thomas at Choice Minis. You can follow me on a variety of social medias under Choice Minis. And you can sign up for our Twitch channel, Choice Minis with a Z. Adam, where can people follow you, man?
People can follow me on IG at beach_vacation_Mando and follow my slow progress into Mandalorian cosplay. Which update? I put the first layer primer on my blaster and my helmet today. It was too windy to do more than one.
Nice. Building mega orcs. Nice one, Sean.
Yeah, he sent me a picture of them. They look awesome.
Sweet. Well, I'm sure that I will eventually get to be off this and I'll see it in my text messages. If you liked what you saw, take a moment, give us a like, subscribe, hit the little bell so you can hang out with us. Tell a friend. Just one friend. That's all I'm asking for is just tell a friend. Maybe they want to come and hang out with us. We are doing a giveaway when we hit 100 subscribers. We will be doing our weekly giveaways along with the Contest of Champions if you want to enroll there. If you have feedback, just want to chat or are bored and want to prank me with stuff, you can send all of that crap to choiceminis@gmail.com. You can support us by buying our merch, clicking a link. You can donate just straight through to our PayPal, or you can buy merch like Adam did tonight. Or, if you can't afford it right now, I get it. COVID, life, there's a million other priorities. You can always just tell a friend. Share it on your social medias. We would love it. That's it for tonight. We'll see you guys all back here on Tuesday with chapter 4, 5, 6. Chapter 6 of Project Neverfallen on Tuesday.
Are we going to see the Judicar come back?
We are going to see the Judicar come back on Tuesday, May 11th at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, 5 o'clock Pacific, 6 o'clock p.m. right here in Calgary, Alberta. Thank you, everybody. Please, please get vaccinated. Do something about white supremacy. ACAB. I'm out.
Not everybody.